Hello everyone, I'm Captain Logan, and today we're going to do another list video. This was an idea that Dan and Jason had together, and they're going to make this as another top 10 list on their own, like they did with top 10 Nintendo games, and then they asked me if I wanted to do it, and so I was like, sure, I'll make a list. My list won't surprise anyone, but sure, I'll make one. And then we wrote Eric can do it too, so all four of us are here, and a dog, but he doesn't have favorite villains.
My list's not great nor definitive, because I woke up, I was told we're making a video about top 10 supervillains, make a list, we're all done already.
Sorry, Eric.
Well, you weren't done, because you had a 50-person list.
Yeah, I had to do the opposite thing from what you did. I wasn't done because I had to cross things off my list rather than get them there in the first place. Yeah, this was really hard for me in the opposite way that it was difficult for you guys. But would you have rather been excluded, Eric?
No.
So we're gonna go down our list, and we're gonna do this as fast as we can since there's four of us, and we're doing our favorite, not necessarily the best, the definitive. We're doing our favorite superhero and comic book villains. So I guess they can be villains who aren't necessarily in a superhero thing, but they gotta be in comics first, or just superhero in general. That's
Wait, can we do people that aren't supervillains that are in just
in comics? Yeah, I mean, I guess.
Sure. Oh,
yeah.
I could have had more stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, you can change it real quick.
I don't have anything off the top of my head. I was just like, I was just thinking supervillains.
Sorry about that. So Eric's list is possibly a work in progress.
Mine's far from definitive, but I have a list.
So why don't we just go ahead and get started? We'll go down 10 to 1, and let's begin.
Are we going to go 10, 9, or we each
do our
10,
entire list? Yeah. Let's start with Jason, and because this was mostly Jason's idea. And go ahead, Jason. Who is your 10th favorite villain?
Dr. Eggman.
Dr. Eggman.
So, I've been on a really weird kick with eggs right now. And I wish there was a comic.
Why don't you just say, I like Sonic and his villain is cool?
This is the first I'm hearing of him being on an egg kick.
I know. I didn't know about this either.
And,
Since 9 o'clock this morning.
I love Dr. Eggman doing Metropolis, except naming it Robotropolis.
Mm-hmm.
Do you prefer him as Dr. Eggman or Dr. Robotnik?
Dr. Robotnik.
Let's get a show of hands.
Yeah, Robotnik is the better name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you like the old Robotnik design or the new one better?
I don't mind the new one.
Yeah,
I don't either.
I kind of like the new one
I'm not
better.
a big fan of the newer Sonic design, but Robotnik I don't really have a problem with.
Yeah, I think it's an improvement on the old design.
Well, I don't like the new design.
Really?
And now I'm going to have boss music stuck in my head for the rest of Eric, who's your number 10?
Okay, so my number 10 is the biggest kind of whatever on my list.
That's why you put it number 10.
This is a character I don't think I've ever actually read anything with, but I love his name and I love him. Master Pandemonium.
I thought you were going to say Taserface.
Master Pandemonium is a West Coast Avengers villain whose mask looks like a giant croissant.
What?
And his
That's amazing.
Superpower is that his arms are portals to hell and demons come out of his sleeves.
That's awesome.
I totally understand putting that on your list on principle.
So yeah, Master Pandemonium.
What is he from?
He's from West Coast Avengers.
West Coast Avengers.
So Englehart made him.
So circa early 80s.
Yeah. Yep.
Dan, who's your number 10?
My number 10 is the leader. Hulk villain. I like a lot of the Silver Age stuff with him. I haven't read the entirety of Stan Lee's run on Hulk yet. It's relatively short, but I've read like
How long is it?
It's 6 issues, and then he goes into Tales to Astonish after that, and I think it runs like the Masterverse trades. I think there's like 5 of them total that cover.
Because I've only read that 6 issues.
Yeah,
the original 6
so
issues.
I think it's like 50 issues then, because each of the Masterverse collections are around 10 issues.
And Ditko comes in and draws.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. He does. And I think Peter David does some cool stuff with the leader.
Oh, I love his first 12 issues.
Yeah,
that's the best leader I've ever read.
Yeah, he's really cool in that. So, and Hulk is one of my favorite Marvel characters, so I wanted to put one of his villains on there. And Leader is probably the most memorable of them. Hulk doesn't have a great rogues gallery or anything.
It's that or Abomination.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I usually remember
and sometimes Bruce Banner.
Well, that's the whole thing with the Hulk is he's not really a great superhero character in that you don't really need him to fight villains because
it's an internal conflict
is internal. Yeah.
I tend to like, maybe it's just because I haven't read enough Hulk. I like Bruce Banner as a bad guy.
Yeah, the run that Aaron did with him as the bad guy was really great. At least at the beginning. I think it fell off at the end.
It absolutely did.
But the first arc was great. He had to rush to an ending because
so that wasn't
not
his
Heroic
fault.
Age, Marvel Now.
Marvel Now.
Yeah.
Yep. And then he got moved over to Thor and Wayne took over Hulk.
But man, those first 12 issues or so.
We did a review of them, and we were both pretty impressed with them back in the day. Yeah.
I never read them.
I bought those. I never buy Hulk. I bought those.
The first part of it where Silvestri draws it with the help of 6 other people.
Yeah, that's how Silvestri works.
Yeah.
That's one of those series where it ended prematurely, and I was like, well, I guess I never have to read that. Like I was gonna read it, and then
my number 10 is Venom.
Who?
Cool.
Venom.
Oh, Venom. I thought you said Venom. I was like,
is it Venom?
You've never heard of the most popular Marvel character?
Yeah, I guess not.
I've always loved the black costume stuff and the symbiote side of Spider-Man, and in some ways I'm almost even a bigger fan of that than I am Spider-Man, which I know is weird to you guys, but Venom didn't rank any higher just because I think I'm a fan of the symbiote way before I am of anybody wearing the suit as a villain.
Yeah, because you constantly talk about, I don't think anybody can make Eddie Brock interesting.
Yeah, Eddie Brock is not interesting. I mean, in original 616 continuity, I think the Eddie Brock in Ultimate Comics is infinitely more interesting. I think I think if you make Eddie Brock, and I guess maybe now that I'm saying this, I could have put it a little bit higher because of course
Eddie Brock's great and spectacular.
It can be about. I was going to say that, but these rankings can be about any iteration of the character. I have a couple things on here that if we were just talking about comics, they wouldn't make it.
I have specific iterations on my list.
Yeah. So, but with Venom, I guess I didn't do that. But Eddie Brock, if you make him kind of like Spider-Man's Lex Luthor, he's really interesting. And what I mean is, where they're friends first, and then he ends up going dark and gets the symbiote. That's a way better version.
I had the same experience in terms of how interesting Eddie Brock was the first time I read the Michelini issues where he shows up in isolation. There's a trade they put out a long time ago. I don't know if it's Birth of Venom, and I read those, and I was like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
And then I read the McFarlane Michelini omnibus and the stuff after that, and I got in the context of the ongoing story they were telling why those stories were well remembered, because I think that they are really great.
It's because most of Michelini's other Spider-Man stuff is kind of dull.
Yeah.
And I read Eddie Brock kind of spotty.
Yeah, sure.
Too, but yeah. So I don't know. I just the symbiote obviously is a really cool aesthetic. I like
it's the best Spider-Man costume, I think.
I like the big McFarlane smile that he used to have.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of obsessed with identity stuff, so, the question of, how much that changes you, and the we versus I thing, and Venom, and I like collective consciousnesses. I think that's always really interesting, and the idea that Peter Parker had the symbiote first, and then it takes over Eddie Brock, and how different is it now because it was with Peter first, and so it becomes Peter's, kind of greatest enemy because of the reflections of himself. That's all really interesting, at least on paper.
Right, of course.
And you like Venom with the tongue. Do you like Venom with the tongue?
I prefer the McFarlane smile.
Yeah, me too.
I like both.
The tongue.
I like both. It depends on how it's being written. I've also seen the McFarlane smile sort of kind of with the tongue, and that can work. I don't like it when it wraps around his head 5 times. It
gets gratuitous sometimes, and they get all the green slime coming off of it and stuff.
But I think you can do both. I think occasionally, the tongue come out. I like it when he's at his most sinister, the tongue comes out. And when he's being real malicious, it's that's what I really like.
The
tongue to come I like in the PlayStation.
I like it in a lot of covers before I like it inside issues.
Okay,
in the PlayStation Spider-Man game, when he's swinging around, his tongue's flapping around like he's a dog. It's hilarious.
Jason, let's go ahead and go on now to our number 9s.
Okay.
To the 9s.
My number 9 is Krang.
Would you believe that Krang is one of my runner-ups? I tried to get him on this list. I couldn't do it. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. He is really funny because
Shredder.
He has pink slime all over him.
Because he's a brain.
Yeah. And he's just really silly all the time.
And I just like the inherent symbolism of your brain in your stomach.
Yeah. The thing about Krang is I've always liked him in the cartoon, obviously, because he's like the other villain in that show. But the IDW version of him is actually really interesting. Yeah, so He's a worthwhile person.
But
to put on the
also
list, I think.
more interesting because of his relationship with Shredder.
Yes.
But so much different than
Yes.
it is later. And that's why he almost made this list.
Yeah.
Really almost just based on the micro series, just the one shot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
Because
great
it was
stuff.
so good.
Yep.
Or am I
And the
thinking
arc
of
with the
miniseries?
Technodrome is really great too, where he shows up and finally tries to make that happen.
I guess both. I guess that Krang miniseries was also really good.
Yes. Yeah.
What is your number 9?
My number 9 is Jack Lantern.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's great.
He's a character I've always liked aesthetically.
That's interesting following my Venom for 10, yeah.
I've always liked Jack Lantern aesthetically. I just think he looks really cool. And then Remender used him on Venom, and he's amazing.
And gave him a personality.
Yeah.
Made him the Green Goblin of Venom.
Yeah, he's so
great.
cool. I love
And
that
he
knockoff
gets
Spider-Man gets
definitive
knockoff
arch nemesis in the
Green
first
Goblin.
couple of issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's so cool.
When he flies in singing Freebird, it's so good. It's so good. I
He does
love
that
it.
early, right?
Yeah,
Doesn't he
yeah.
show up just right away?
Yeah.
Yeah, he shows up pretty fast, and he gets more creepy as the series goes along when they reveal like the screwed up face he has.
And then his backstory with Crime Master.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I forgot about all that.
Oh,
yeah.
I love
I
Jack
wouldn't have
Lantern.
thought to put him on here just because it's been so long. I remember I love him. I can't remember much about him right now.
Oh, he's great. He's great.
Yeah, they reach that series is so cool, especially what they do with Crime Master as well. How they reach into the really early Lee Ditko stuff and pull stuff from it.
Could
It's
we
great.
adapt that as a cartoon?
Oh,
that would
that'd be
make a
That'd be
great
amazing.
series.
That'd be a cool Netflix like R-rated kind of series.
Well,
Oh,
yeah.
Or
and they
PG-17,
and they could potentially
like
do such a
16,
thing now.
like they've been doing with the Netflix. live
Yeah.
action.
I mean, if you're gonna make a Venom movie, that's what I'd want to see.
Yeah. That's if you're making a Venom movie at this point in time. If you're not doing Agent Venom, you're making a mistake.
I think so too.
And then the only argument there is some of us might like to see him as a villain first, and then
But don't you want to see it as a comedy? Isn't that what you're looking for?
but what I was gonna say-
Inspired by Harryhausen.
But some of us might like to see the symbiote take over somebody else first, and then go to Flash.
No, that's fair.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not totally sure that I would want it to be Flash in the first place, but
That's fair.
good, Dan.
My number 9 is Dormammu,
Yeah,
Doctor Strange villain.
Dormammu.
Yes.
I might have picked him, but it would have been somewhat redundant because the only
You
reason
could
I
have
love
liked the
Dormammu now,
Slash
I could have.
Dormammu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
I like Dormammu because
Don't give away things on my list. Like anyone's surprised.
I really like Dormammu because in the Lee Ditko run, like all the stuff with the Dark Dimension and how he like rules it and the mindless ones and what actually goes on in the place that he lives, it's all really interesting. Like there's a lot of really great world building in that early stuff with Dormammu, and I don't know, I always thought he was really cool, and he's a guy in a giant purple suit, and purple's my favorite
And his
color.
head's on
so-
fire.
Yeah, so he's like mystical Ghost Rider kind of. He's cool.
I always thought in the '90s series they drew his head exactly like how they draw Human Torch.
Yeah.
I thought he was like evil Human Torch.
Oh really? I mean that
He's
makes sense. Yeah.
My number 9 somewhat obligatorily is Clock King. And
Only number 9.
I know, and a lot of people are going to expect it to be way farther up the list, but the reason it's got to be that low is because I don't know that much about Clock King. And I have this reputation for being this massive Clock King fan. It's more of like a hang-up than a fandom.
Yeah.
Where it's like, here's a guy I just want to show up more often, and I get giddy when I see him. But, like, and I love the idea of Clock King. I love the idea of somebody who's that meticulous about it being on time. And I think it's because he's the opposite of everything I am. I think that's why, to some degree, I kind of appreciate that and wish I could aspire to that. But not to, like, the bad things he does. And not to that kind of obsessive-compulsive disorder that he has. But I go back and I think about the different versions of Clock King, and I like many of them. Like this starts, of course, with the animated series Clock King for me, and then as a lot of people know on the channel, I campaigned to try to get Clock King and Arrow, and they did that, and I'm sure it had nothing to do with our campaign. And then I love that version. That's really great. And the one in Brave and the Bold is hilarious. The one in '60s Batman is just okay. But
you like that episode.
But I love that episode, yeah, and I put it on my top
I like
10
when
list.
Clock King has clocks on his glasses.
Yeah, me
That's
too.
super cool.
That's the best. I've always wanted to cosplay as him, but I feel like I'm not tall enough.
Is he a tall character?
In '60s, in animated series, and that's the way I would want to do it. That's the version I would want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he's real tall and lanky.
Yeah.
And he's got his cane that he's
Yeah, I
just
guess you're right.
he's real stiff. Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, I'm sure a lot of people might have thought that would be like my number 1 or 2, but that's not fair because I don't know him that well enough.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Jason.
Number
Number 8.
My number 8 is Thrackerzog.
Thrackerzog was also one of my runner-ups. Yeah, and I tried really hard to get him on because Eric was like, Cap, did you put a tick villain? No, and then he was like, would it be Chairface? And I was thinking, and we were talking about Barry and stuff, and I went, wait, no, it'd be Thrakkerzog. It'd be absolutely Thrakkerzog.
Yeah, and what's funny is that I spelled him incorrectly.
That's hilarious.
I did T.
No. Do you know how to spell it?
No.
Okay, Thrakkerzog it has 2 Ks.
Oh, I thought it was THRAG.
That's not what it is.
CHOSONG.
No, Thrakkerzog is THRAKKORZOG. Thrakkerzog.
I thought it was
Can I have that in a
Thatcho.
sentence?
Thatcho.
I get its original pronunciation.
Thrakkerzog comes from Dimension 14B.
Thatcho-zong.
Thrakkerzog.
Song.
He comes from Dimension 14B.
Yes.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. The Thrakkerzog's great. Thrakkerzog has this incredible speech. This is one of the big reasons I love him. Because he's this. What's great about the Tick is talking about or making fun of like the mundane sides of life. And he in the animated series he just moves into the apartment across from the Tick and Arthur, and he's there to rule the universe, but he's got to live in an apartment until he can do that. And he rooms with this just kind of creepy guy who drinks milk straight out of the milk carton.
Oh no.
And he's he's obsessed with good roommate etiquette, and he has a British accent, and he's proper about everything. And he has this great speech to the guy in his apartment about drinking straight out of the milk carton. He says, this is my side of the living room, and that is your side of the living room, and must you drink straight out of the milk carton? It's disgusting! And he's this big, giant, like, goopy, green alien thing with a tongue with a face that wants to eat people's brains, and he's obsessed with roommate etiquette. It's just the best thing ever.
That's awesome.
That's why I love Thrakkerzog.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I love Thrakkerzog because.
I can't believe you even thought of that. That's great.
Yeah. Thatcho.
That's how I know he's my kid.
I love Thatcho song because
I keep thinking he's saying Thatcherzog. I'm like, Margaret Thatcher.
No,
How is
it's
she?
Thracker. So, anyway, I'm sorry. Why do you like Thrakkerzog, Jason?
because he tries to take over Arthur.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eric, what's your number 8?
My number 8's Dracula.
Mm-hmm.
Then.
Well, Dracula's been a villain in all kinds of superhero stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of the ultimate supervillain. But he's been in DC, he's
Which
been in Marvel.
version specifically? Or
Um,
are you going to land on one?
I don't know if I'm gonna land on one. I just like Dracula. I mean, Marvel Dracula until they messed up his design is great. He's based on Jack Palance. He's got this pencil-thin mustache.
Is he?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah. He's based on Jack Palance. Who would then 2 years later play Dracula.
Did he?
Yeah.
Was it in anything good?
I've never seen Jack Palance's Dracula.
Oh,
it was like a TV British TV movie. or
Oh,
something.
weird.
Huh.
Okay.
But yeah, I really like the Marvel. Have you seen him lately?
Was
In
his
Marvel?
new design the first thing? I think it was the Victor Gischler, first
Yeah.
couple issues of the X-Men.
He's
run
got
he was
this
in.
red samurai
Yeah,
armor.
it's
He's
pretty
all
bad.
pale. He's got elf ears and his hair's all white and pulled back in a ponytail. He's so animated. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I like my classic Dracula. So yeah, I'd probably go with the Marvel Dracula. I just like Dracula. Really, he counts as a supervillain. Also, like everyone else in the Marvel universe, he is in love with Storm. I don't know if you know that. Everyone is in love with Storm, and so is Dracula. He tries to make her his vampire bride.
Huh.
It's great.
I didn't know. I know DC has a Dracula.
Specifically with
So-
Batman.
Yeah, he doesn't. I don't know if he's in mainstream continuity, but there's the Batman Dracula comics and stuff like that.
And those are more of almost an Elseworlds thing.
Yeah.
Have you ever read
Off
the
the
story?
beaten path.
I forget who wrote it, but the story where Doctor Strange fights the Marvel Dracula.
Is that the one where he banishes? Wait, was that an original graphic novel?
I think it was issues in the Doctor Strange series.
Okay.
I have it in trade, so I don't remember exactly.
I
what
haven't.
series
I
it is.
know at some point Doctor Strange gets rid of all vampires.
Oh, really? I haven't read
Yeah,
that
he
stuff.
casts a spell that gets rid of all vampires, then we eventually undo it because we want to write vampires again.
Okay. I haven't read that in a while. Maybe that's where that happens. I don't remember. But I remember really liking that story. You should check it out.
That's cool. I will check that out.
And Jason, the Batman has a Dracula movie, and I'll show you that at some point because
Who's,
it's great.
When you're a little bit older. Who's
I think he could about handle it. There's a couple
more
of
than
things.
that. I haven't watched that since I was a kid, but
Yeah, but there's not a lot
Sounds
of.
changing.
It's not gore though.
that's true.
It's like it comes from a ceiling.
That's true.
Like,
Well, Joker drinks some, but
from the ceiling.
sure.
From sprinklers.
Who writes that Doctor Strange?
I can't remember. I think it was Roger Stern, but
Yeah, I was
could
gonna
be
ask
wrong
you
about
Stern.
that. Yeah.
substantial run on that.
Yeah. I think it was around the 80s, but I don't remember off the top of my head.
Hey Dan,
Yes.
number 8.
Is
Mine
it
are-
around the 80s, both the 70s and the 90s? Those are around.
I think
the
so.
80s.
Around. I think when people say that, they mean like it could be 79 or it could be 91.
Yeah. So my number 8 is the Reverse Flash.
That's hilarious.
Which one? Is it Zoom or is it?
Professor, the original guy.
I
that
seriously,
Eobard Thawne.
Eobard
Yeah.
Thawne.
I seriously thought that would be higher on your list.
Yeah, there were some other guys that outranked him for me, but I really do like it. Some of the ones at the bottom were rather arbitrary in their ranking.
Yeah.
I really like him in Wade's run on the Flash because he's intimately involved in all of the revelations we get about the Speed Force, and I think my favorite Reverse Flash story is the Return of Barry Allen story that Wade does in that run, where everyone thinks Barry Allen comes back to life, but it's actually Eobard Thawne from the 23rd century, and he like pretends to be him. He demonstrates himself as really crazy. Yeah, he's really great. It's such a goofy concept to just have a character that the villain is like the Flash's costume, but like reversed, and to make him into a really interesting character.
I've always thought it was
awesome.
weird because it's Kid Flash's costume.
Yeah, that's also true.
Is that ever commented on?
Actually, in the new Rebirth series, they talk about it.
Okay.
He talks about in the past, like he made his costume look like that because he wanted to make it look like he was the Flash's sidekick.
Oh.
And Barry Allen obviously spurns him because he's a terrible person.
Sure.
Yeah.
What you said a second ago totally sounds like an old sci-fi series, like Eobard Thawne in the 23rd
In the
century.
23rd century.
You were making fun of Anti-Spawn. You got Reverse Flash on your list.
That's basically what Anti-Spawn is,
Reverse
isn't he?
Flash
I didn't
is
even
so
think about that.
mainstream. Nobody even. We had this with a lot of things, right? Nobody even thinks about how silly they sound anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I went to the conversation with someone about Ocean Master where he like laughed and he's like, that's a dumb name. I'm like, is it dumber than Magneto?
Yeah. And his response should have been, well, when you pronounce it like that.
Or Mr. Sinister?
Yeah.
If you ever want to make someone think Magneto's stupid, just show them that clip from the old Fantastic Four cartoon.
Yeah.
I love
where
that.
he has a wooden gun and he's like, my magnetic power! It's so good.
I just thought that you said that any more than Magneto. You say it like that, it sounds
His
ridiculous.
name is Magnet O.
My number 8 is Lord Zed.
Oh, I just got a great one for my list that I didn't.
Everybody knows I love Lord Zed. Had to make the list. Also obligatory. A lot of this is obligatory. Honestly, I thought about opening this video with you guys just yelling out things you know I like. me crossing them off and then going, okay, let's hear your list.
Is Midnight on your list?
Midnight?
From.
No, I wouldn't. I didn't go there. Yeah. I see. It would be Sarah's probably. You'd be Mr. Midnight. From, from
Captain
Invincible.
We gotta show that to Dan.
We do have to watch
Yeah.
Captain Invincible with
Let's
Dan.
do it.
Yeah, that needs to happen. We must be the YouTube channel with the most references to Batman. There's no way. Like, there's no way anybody
The
else.
only references.
Not the only one, because I know a couple people have reviewed it.
Oh,
But,
okay.
yeah, in this day, I mean, at this point, everybody's reviewed. I mean, everything has gotten reviewed by somebody. I love Lord Zed for all the things I wish he was. When he first shows up in Power Rangers,
This is a
for
weird
that
way
show.
now. I love you for all the things I wish you were.
for that show, he was terrifying. He had such an incredible look. One big feather in Lord Zed's cap, if you wore, and he should wear a hat maybe because he's got his brain sticking out. But one feather in his cap is that he is the first villain created entirely by that show and not taken from a tokusatsu, and he's only their second villain, and I find that very impressive. He has one of the most provocative looks from anything. Like, nothing looks like Lord Zed. And I just love that look, and I've spent a lot of, probably too much time imagining how he got that way. What happened
he
to
looks
his
like a
skin?
Clive Barker character.
How did it all get ripped off? Yeah, exactly. I mean, he could be a slasher film character. And I like those, like, evil, regal tyrants that are obsessed with with themselves and with taking over everything, and that think that they're better than everyone, and I really like those characters that kind of make a good case for it. Lord Zed could make a good case for it if he was in a different kind of show.
Right.
But God, I love that look. I love his voice. And I collect that character really hard. So it would be real remiss for him not to show up somewhere on my list. Jason, where are we at now? Number 7. Number 7. Go ahead.
My number 7
Yeah.
is
Do you want a drum roll?
I'm just looking at the bookshelf.
Harley Quinn.
I was drum rolling like you were
Harley Quinn.
drum rolling. Really? Don't roll your eyes. Don't do that.
I didn't. I didn't do anything.
I know you. I'm just kidding.
Well, I just did.
So, why'd you put Harley Quinn on your list?
Because she's a girl and she's hilarious.
She is sometimes hilarious.
She's the funniest of all the DC characters to me.
I'm trying to think of funny DC characters.
Well, that's a funny DC character.
She's not bad.
The Joker can be funny, but he often isn't. A lot of writers
Yeah.
write him as ultra serious, even though he has the clown.
Right,
motif
but
going
DC
on.
has a lot of comedic superheroes.
Like Plastic Man is comedic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Creeper.
Yeah.
Right, but even
Flash.
I'm sorry, I'm blanking. Well, Flash is sometimes funny, absolutely.
Yeah, Flash is.
Not in the Justice League trailer.
No, no, but they want him to be. That's
Flash is really
Ambush
funny in Lego.
Ambush
So
Bug is a comedic
what
character in
Harley
DC.
Quinn? When you say Harley Quinn's really funny, what Harley Quinn is it from the DC superhero girls? Is it from
The
the Batman
original.
the original animated series? All right.
Yeah, sure.
Where
And just going to that, I might have thought of
The
that at one
first
time in my
Harley
life.
Quinn.
At this point, yeah, that's the animated series.
Oh. I meant in the comics, but
That's still kind of the first Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
Eric, what's your number 7?
My number 7 is Ultimate Loki.
Oh, I was gonna say Booster
Ultimate
Gold.
Loki.
Booster
Ultimate
Gold
Loki.
is another comedic
I
character.
said,
Interesting.
What's that?
I said Booster Gold.
Did you? I didn't hear you say that.
I said she's not as funny as Booster Gold. But yeah, my number 7 is Ultimate Loki. You have
That's real specific. Wow.
You've still yet to read Ultimates 2. It's
I
still
have,
like my
yeah.
favorite comic book.
We've talked about it
art.
forever. Yeah.
We need to do that.
I haven't read Ultimates or Ultimates 2 either.
We reviewed
Ultimates 1 is
Ultimates
good.
2.
Ultimates 2 is one of my favorite things.
We reviewed
wow.
Ultimates live with Steve like well over a year ago now.
And we were supposed to do 2. It was supposed to lead into Civil War. We were going to do Ultimates 2. But I really do want to get to Ultimates.
Look how much time has passed now.
But Ultimate Loki is the ultimate sadistic mastermind. He's a crazy person that has the ability to warp reality. And he's also like a master con man, and I love. Like, I don't want to say anything because you haven't read it yet, and you haven't read it yet.
Yeah.
But I love Ultimate Loki.
And Jason's not old enough to read it yet.
Is he very different from the 616 version? Like in not necessarily the way
he's
he
a more
looks at power
serious, updated version.
Okay,
Like
cool.
what he does, I think goes farther than I usually tend to see what Loki does. Just in the, like he literally changes reality.
Interesting.
It sounds like they kind of
in subtle ways.
So they kind of reinterpret the mischief idea.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
interesting.
And he escaped from the room with no doors or windows.
Because when you say
And they
messing
never
with
tell him how
reality,
he did
it
that.
sounds like his power set is more impish, like Misoplick, but like it's not that personality at all.
Yeah. He just kind of hates Thor and wants to ruin him. And he does that by making everyone in the universe think he's a crazy person. But there's
Does he
also
disappear
kind
if you
of
say his
fun.
name backwards?
No.
Does that work?
So that's the reason why everyone thinks Thor is a crazy person and he's not a
He
god in
called.
Ultimates 1? Because I heard that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
interesting.
it's a complicated mystery about whether he's actually a crazy person or not, but Loki plays into that.
Interesting.
And he's really cool, and he's just like a dude in a coat, and so like when you go back through the book, he's in the background of scenes, but he doesn't stand out because he's just a dude in a coat, but it's him.
That's
he's
cool.
just like, you can see when he's manipulating things. When you reread it, I really like Ultimate Loki. I think he's a really good villain.
That's cool. Wow.
Your list is so much more interesting than my list. Dan!
I had to come up with it on the fly.
My number 7 is the Riddler.
Wow.
I'm not really a Batman guy,
Is the
famously,
Riddler
I
on your
suppose.
list?
But I've,
Who knows?
for whatever reason, I've always
That's a riddle. I refuse to.
I've always really liked the Batman villains. I guess even if you're not really a big Batman fan, most people seem to agree that the Batman villains and the supporting cast of the World of Gotham is really cool.
Most people agree that it's the best, at least one of the best rogues galleries.
Yeah,
It's him and
definitely.
Spider-Man.
Yeah,
It's going to be in the top 3.
yeah, of course.
Pretty much whoever you are, I think.
I think the top 3 is generally Batman, Spider-Man, Flash, right?
Yeah, those are the 3.
Maybe X-Men.
Maybe X-Men.
But the
We don't think of that as a rogues gallery, though.
Yeah,
the
because the
mutants
thing-
are kind of all intertwined.
Yeah, because the thing with the X-Men is they reform all their villains. So
Yeah,
like,
and they all flip back and forth sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, they reform a lot. Like the X-Men almost have this like reform or kill policy. Like a lot of X-Men villains die or become
convert
good
or
guys.
die to
Yeah,
Xavier's
if,
name.
if one of us put Mystique on our list, there are some viewers that would be young enough to go, "What? She was a villain?"
We talked about
Like,
Emma Frost like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Mystique is much more villainous in the comics than she's in the movies too. Like,
Yeah.
Oh yes, of course.
but anyway, the Riddler, I really like him. He's, for whatever reasons, always been my favorite Batman villain. The first thing I ever saw him was the animated series, and I thought like the motif of trying
John
to
Glover.
trying to beat Batman with your mind rather than all the other villains, which was like the physical aspect. I thought was really cool. I debated whether to put him or Two-Face on there because they're like very close to me in terms of favorite Batman villains I really like.
Which is why Dan loves Batman Forever.
Yeah, that's my favorite of the original Batman series. Actually, I love that.
I agree.
I was joking when I said that, but then I was like, it's possible Dan likes
I was
Batman.
Yeah.
deciding between Two-Face and Harley Quinn.
Very good choice. I mean, Two-Face is awesome too. Yeah, and I don't know. I've always thought like the gimmick with him was always cool, like with the riddles and stuff. So
Yeah, me too.
yeah,
And it's also why no one wants to write him because riddles are hard.
yeah,
Yeah.
Sure.
And finally, we're getting into this really interesting, like, golden age with the Riddler, where he used to be one of those characters that people liked aesthetically and they liked the idea of it, but they Riddler would be like the butt of jokes in comics, but I don't think a lot of people thought, he was too silly. I think just in comics that was his thing, where like people feel like Riddler's stupid, and we're in this like seminal age now.
Yeah,
with the Riddler, where we keep telling decent Riddler
Riddler never got
stories.
the Aquaman thing. Like, people just kind of assumed that he would be the villain after Dark Knight. It was
Yeah,
like, well, yeah,
people
the
like
next place
him.
you go is Riddler.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? But in the books, they think he's stupid.
Yeah.
And he's getting past that real hard.
Which is good.
And I think you have Arkham to thank for some of that.
And Zero Year, I think, was a big part of
Yeah.
Yeah, but I
Batman
think Zero
comics.
Year could partially happen because of because
Sure.
of his popularity in Arkham.
Sure, definitely.
Just that we got him at sadistic.
Yeah. I think Snyder would have gotten to him eventually, but I think you're right. Maybe he got into him sooner than he might have.
I just don't know that there wasn't an influence there. Too, is
Sure.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, agreed. Riddler's awesome.
My number 7 is William Stryker.
Stryker.
Really?
Stryker.
Now, the Stryker from the movies
X2.
and so the movie, do you like the comic book
And
version
not
too?
movies. Don't do that
never
because
read
it's
the
never
comic.
interesting
Oh.
enough. I have read Ultimate Stryker.
Oh, okay.
And he's
The
interesting.
namesake of your future daughter.
Yeah, we had this whole thing, this whole joke that Eric doesn't want to be a joke about the fact that if I
He's
ever
gonna
have
name
a
his daughter
daughter.
Striker.
Gonna name him after an evil person.
No, her.
Her, yeah.
No, his daughter's gonna be named Striker, and he's gonna chase around the house yelling, Striker!
No, Dad.
There are no answers that way, Wolverine! I've talked ad nauseum about why I like Stryker from that movie, and that really fascinating kind of triad of ideologies in X2 with him and Professor X and Magneto. And like I said, I don't know him at all in 616.
He's really cool in God Loves Man Kills. That's like the main stories from me.
Which
That's
we
why
were
it's
going to
great.
review at one point.
Yeah, we should at
I
some
was
point,
going to sit
yeah.
down and read it. We've never read it. I mean, I've never read it.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite X-Men stories. It's a pretty good standalone thing that Claremont did that you can read kind of on its
I
own.
never read it because I don't like the art that much.
Oh,
And it's supposed to be
okay.
Neil Adams, and it looks like Neil Adams' light to me.
Yeah. I mean, I like the art well enough, but I agree. I don't think it's amazing or anything.
Yeah.
I would like to see that take from Ultimate with the evil priest come back, because that worked really well.
Well, that's what he is in the comics. He's
Yeah,
he's
he
a
is.
televangelist.
Oh, is he?
He's a televangelist.
Okay, he's not a televangelist in that. He's just a priest.
Well, you
but
wouldn't do a televangelist in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Right.
So one of the things
You do a YouTube evangelist.
Yeah.
One of the things I love about Stryker and God Loves Man Kills is Nightcrawler's my favorite X-Men character, and just seeing him deal with the religious, he's such a religious character, and having him deal with a televangelist as a villain is really interesting. Like, one of the best panels, I think, from that is Stryker pointing at Nightcrawler and saying, "You're a freak, and you deserve to die," and all that kind of stuff. It's really interesting. Using the
I should have
ideology.
Magneto flipped. And I mean, I should love, and I do really like Magneto, but it's weird that I almost like him more just because, I don't know, I've had Magneto forever, and just that idea I'm still not over.
It's because you can relate to it. You also hate mutants.
That's true. I think it's because I can't be bigoted in the same way Magneto is. I can't relate to that as much.
You can't hate all
because-
humans, but you can hate all mutants.
That's true. That's true. That's really, I never thought of that before. Yeah.
It's your eyes into that universe.
Yeah, and I was
Really William Stryker.
right, and I was impressed with Brian Cox for tapping into his inner hatred of mutants. I think I'm kind of a mental bond with Brian Cox.
Captain Stryker.
Captain Stryker. Jason, who is your number 6? Getting close to the halfway point.
Parasite.
Parasite.
Really?
Oh, cool.
Your list is
interesting.
fascinating.
Yeah, it is.
Where do you know Parasite?
Is that why you're wearing purple?
Mhm. Oh, yes. That's why I'm wearing purple, yes. I know Parasite from, one of my books.
Oh, yeah, was it the one you got when we went to the comic shop?
No.
Is that the book of
I think
Parasite?
Parasite's in that, but I don't think he's read that. But he's got some storybooks.
Okay.
And I think one of those has
Cool.
Parasite
Yeah.
in it. And it's one of those. I can see why he'd put that on there because I think it was probably one of the earlier books he's read.
Oh, that's cool.
And he goes back to it. Did you see the Supergirl episode this season with Parasite?
Yes.
I thought you got really excited. And their Parasite is giant. They
Cool.
they do a giant like Rex Buildings Parasite.
Yeah.
It's not just a dude that touches people and sucks things out of them. That's
No,
what I would have
I love
expected.
Parasite in Superman the Animated Series, especially when he teams up with Livewire. That
Yeah.
episode's great.
Well, I'm trying to remember. Did they do that in Super? I think maybe Livewire was around with Parasite. I can't remember.
In
now.
Supergirl?
Yeah, I think they might have
Did
gone
they
back
do
and
Livewire?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and she's appeared 3 or 4 times. She's a recurring villain.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Eric. What's your number 6?
Okay. My number 6 is, I think it's another really specific one. Yeah, it is. It's Miller's Joker.
Yeah.
So
You kind of gotta land on one if you're gonna actually use the Joker, which is why I didn't. And I almost opened this saying like, so I'm glad I didn't because you had one on your list. But Dan and I were talking about this yesterday.
Yeah.
And we were gonna be like, top 10 villains besides the Joker because it's just such an obvious pick, and I got like only 10
I agree,
slots.
and I wasn't going to put the Joker on there.
But we can go around and do our definitives.
Sure.
Yeah, we should. That'd be fun.
I think the definitive Joker is Morrison's Joker. Like, I think he just encompasses, in the same way his Batman runs about all of the Batmans, his Joker is all of the Jokers.
Okay.
In a certain way.
I haven't had enough experience with it.
But Miller's Joker is so interesting. He is, and this comes from being a Miller fan, but his Joker is the perfect Miller villain, especially when you get into All-Star Batman Robin, where he has a whole soliloquy about the city. Like, he fetishizes the city the way Miller's heroes do, but in a real twisted and perverse way. And I think, while I don't like that nowadays a lot of times the Joker's not funny, I think when he did it then, it's so effective that he is a guy that everyone thinks is funny because he dresses like a clown, but he doesn't actually ever make jokes. And the only reason, like, he laughs with Batman and things like that. Like, he thinks things are funny, but he doesn't do things that are funny. And he's just
and that can make him less
terrifying.
entertaining to read sometimes.
It's the only time I've ever liked a bigger Joker. I don't like I don't really like the Batman Joker where like he's like a martial arts guy, but I like because he's not like a strong guy in Dark Knight Returns. He's just bigger. He's a Miller guy.
No,
He just kind of looks like a mobster.
Yeah.
The Joker-
I love Joker in a white suit.
Joker in the Batman is a Samurai Jack villain.
Yeah. Yeah. So is Penguin.
Yeah. What are you doing?
But no, I really like Miller's take on the Joker. I think he's really creepy and really scary. And really influential. Like, that's the first time I'm aware of where we seriously do the villain is in some way in love with the hero and defined by the hero.
Yeah.
And that's just the go-to now for a lot of villains where it's like, well, why is Jigsaw obsessed with the Punisher? Well, maybe Jigsaw loves the Punisher. And that's influenced a lot of things since. I really like Miller's Joker.
Jason, just on the spot, what is your favorite version of the Joker?
Oh,
Do you have one?
probably Lego Batman movie.
That's pretty funny. Yeah. That's pretty. And he's and he with that Batman is interesting. I mean, they have a cool relationship too.
Yeah.
What's yours, Dan?
I mean, the obvious place for me, I'm not being a huge Batman guy, is the
Right.
Killing Joke. That's probably my favorite version
Really?
of the Joker. Yeah. I like that story a lot.
This is hard for me. I think, and this is one of those things that could just like change, maybe depending on mood. I don't know. Yeah, I'm saying that. I think right now it's Arkham.
Yeah, the Arkham Joker is
Fair.
really great. Yeah.
Because it's so easy to say animated series, but then they built on that, and there's so much complexity to that version, and he is funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's terrifying and hilarious.
Yeah.
Like the Ledger version, but I think maybe the Arkham version I like a little better.
I think my favorite. You can almost do versions of Mark Hamill's Joker, but my
Yes,
favorite
you
version of
could.
Mark Hamill's Joker is Return of the Joker. I love Return of the Joker. He's got the Hannibal Lecter slick back hair, and he's got like a weird purple suit. I don't know what you'd call what he's wearing. It's almost like a that was like a straitjacket kind of a thing. I don't know. It's cool.
And the worst version of Mark Hamill's Joker, everybody say it with me.
The
Killing Joke.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's bad. Okay,
I know that.
It's
I'm glad you put a Joker on there, because I'm glad we got to talk about
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But go ahead, Dan.
My number 6 is the Shredder.
That I might have thought to do as well.
I thought about Shredder, but I didn't.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean,
Which version?
I
Do you want to do that?
I mean,
almost did too.
at this point, probably the one from the IDW comics, but I'm really a huge fan of the one from the '90 movie too. I love
Oh, it's
that
great.
version of
Me
Shredder.
too.
Yeah. I really like the Shredder, especially in that '90 movie, because his whole thing is like a perverse version of family, and that's kind of what the Turtles are. They're a ragtag family. I really like all of the ninja mythology stuff with the Shredder. I've always thought Japanese culture was fascinating, and like all the feudal Japan stuff. So he's a character I've always really liked, and I love Ninja Turtles, and he's other than like Krang and stuff, he's the villain. Like,
Have you read the Usman Laird stuff?
I've read the first Ultimate Collection from when IDW put them out.
Mm.
I have the other 2 volumes, but I haven't read them yet.
There's 5 of them.
5 of them. So
Five
at the
or
time
six?
when they were publishing, when I bought
Yeah.
the first 3, I didn't know they
What
put
was
out
out?
them. Okay, cool.
So that means what you read the first 12?
Yes.
Or-
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
all I've read.
And I think
So-
there's an annual in the first volume. or
So,
something like that, too.
so the immediate next thing that they do together, because they do that 11, and then they trade off issues and let other people come in. But when they come back, they return to New York. That's the only time they ever brought Shredder back.
Mhm.
It's awesome.
Oh, really? I have
He's
to read that.
so weird and great. And you get to see all these weird different versions of Shredder. It's super cool.
Oh, cool.
Shredder has a really minimal but memorable costume.
Yeah, his
Yeah.
costume's great.
It's all that helmet, right?
And he pulls purple off.
Yeah, and he's just kind of ninja Darth Vader, but he looks great.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
And I like at least in the first 2 seasons, I don't know. I really like the 03.
Yeah, he's great in that too.
Yeah.
Once
And
we
he's
get-
terrifying.
I like the reveal that he's an alien, but I feel like I don't know, that goes in a weird direction. But
Yeah.
but the first
I didn't watch past that.
when he keeps cutting
When it
off
was more
pieces of
grounded, I
Baxter
thought that was-
Stockman.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Off screen.
Yeah,
Which
it's
makes it
great.
worse.
It's great.
I never get tired of the face reveal of whatever it is.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I agree.
That's always great. When you get used to he's wearing this mask, he's hiding scars or whatever. You don't know what he looks like underneath. You always can't wait to find out what this version of Shredder's going to look like underneath that
Yeah.
mask.
Yeah.
My number 6 is Bane.
Really?
That's funny.
Yeah. I've been on. I don't know. I've been all over it for the last few years.
You're reading.
The big thing, yeah. The big thing is I recently read Vengeance of Bane, and he is a brilliant foil for Batman. And so many Batman characters are foils for Batman. I mean villains. But what really sets him apart is that he has that drive and determination and obsession with pushing the limits of human capability. And there's a lot to respect about Bane because of the way he raises himself in a prison. And there's a lot that's said in that book about like human condition in childhood and like who you are, or like when you lose your innocence and what happens to you when that happens. And he's a really sad, tragic kind of character. And then he's just horrifying. And like a lot of people not reading Vengeance of Bane look at Bane and the one really cool thing about him is just besides superficially, well, he's big and strong enough he can break Batman, is that Bane looks like a brute but he's really super smart. But it's way more interesting when you know why he's that smart.
Right. Yeah. That's really that. Yeah. Bane's a cool character. I never was really interested in him until The Dark Knight Rises, and he's just hilarious and awesome in that at the same time.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. So that made me more.
And I think
interested in the character.
reading Vengeance finally puts it over the top.
Oh, cool.
Because despite my frustration with Rises, I love the look and some of the ideas that aren't fleshed out
Right.
with him in that.
Right.
And I don't know if I think that voice is cool or stupid now. I just love doing it. I don't even know. I don't even know.
I want to know why we can't adapt Bane and keep his mask intact.
Yeah.
It's one of the coolest masks, and we keep making the luchador mask, and it looks dumb when it's a luchador mask, or it looks like a luchador mask, I guess.
Yeah.
I just stop doing that.
And then-
just one person don't do that.
And then the Gimp mask thing he has in the animated series is really weird. The thing when it has like the zippers on it.
Yeah, Yeah, no, that's not animated series. That's
It's not?
New
I thought
Adventures
you
of
had
Batman. It's the redesign of it.
Oh, okay.
Dan, I'll have you read Vengeance because I think you would love it.
Yeah, I'll have to.
And it is entirely from his perspective.
Oh, cool.
And
I
they
didn't realize that.
introduce him that way.
Oh, cool.
I mean, he has, I think, like there's one shot of him somewhere, like, right before that somewhere, I think. But by and large, I mean, for all intents and purposes, you meet him as the protagonist of his own story.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. I love when they do that with villains and it pulls off well. They pull it off well.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Jason, what's your number 5, sir?
Lord Zed.
Lord Zed. You got him higher than I do.
Yeah.
Bum, 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 bum.
So you can watch through all the Power Rangers and Lord Zed's still your favorite of all of those?
It's probably just because of
Where
fatherly
he lives?
reinforcement, I'm thinking, yeah.
Yeah, I love Thor.
Thor.
I
like Thor,
too. The whole thing where he has the Z on his head.
So you like the look of it like I do.
Yeah.
But answer Eric's question. So that you haven't answered Eric's question. So are there no other villains that beat out Zed for you?
In
Still,
Power
with
Rangers?
how many series you've watched now?
Well,
I mean, like there's the Time Force guy and
There's Zeltrax.
well, Zeltrax is a henchman,
Not
and
Zeltrax.
I love Zeltrax.
Not
but
Zeltrax. I always say
Mesogon.
Zeltrax when I mean
Mesogon.
There's Mesogog.
I've never heard that sentence before. I always say Zeltrax when I mean Mesogon.
It's a cooler name.
I want that on a T-shirt. I always say Zeltrax when I meant Mesogon. Mesogon is amazing and has
Crabtree could make one.
David Crabtree. Anyway, so Lord Zed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, anything else you want to say about Lord Zed?
Well, the only
Is some of it Wasserman?
yeah,
Is some of it that
and
themed?
well, and I like Lord Zed because the episode where they mess people's brains up.
Yeah, Hail Lord Zed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It is the second
that thing.
villain on his list that has an exposed brain.
I'm really into that too for some reason. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I love that.
Yeah,
Just
because
like to see brilliant people's brains.
Because I have Krang and
Yeah, because
then
Krang is brilliant.
and then
There's versions where he is.
But 80s Krang.
No, but everybody's an idiot in that.
Is
Who
Lord
thinks they're
Zed brilliant?
what?
Let's say he is. Let's
He
just say
lives
he
in a
is.
trailer.
No, he's not brilliant at that point, but that's because they really watered him down. Okay, far too much Lord Zed discussion in this video. Eric,
Number 5.
number 5.
Number 5 is Cobra Commander. Cobra Commander's great. Specifically the original IDW version of Cobra Commander, where they redesigned it. They give him a turtleneck, and he's this real like almost European kind of evil. He's really interesting.
That's the best kind of evil. He's European evil.
And he's really sophisticated, but I also love classic Cobra Commander, who, as you read through the original Marvel series, becomes, like, his backstory just gets dumber and dumber. Do you know the origin story of the Marvel Cobra Commander? He was a used car salesman.
Really?
Really?
And then his brother died in a car accident. I think that's connected to Snake Eyes' origin. And so he decides to go and start a cult and take over America.
What?
Yeah, it's amazing.
That's awesome.
European evil.
I like both the helmet with the metal and the Executioner's hood, although I think I prefer the Executioner's hood a little bit more.
I
We don't do
always
that enough
say
anymore.
Zeltrax.
Yeah, because the Zemo doesn't even have that thing anymore going on.
When I mean
The
Mesogod.
mask.
Yeah, it's like more face fitting than it used to be, right?
Well, the second Zemo had the more face-fitting one.
Okay.
The original Zemo had the big, like, sock.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I prefer the more face-fitting one for Zemo. But, no, I like the Executioner's mask. We don't use it enough. We like to go to the helmet. But, yeah, I really like Cobra Commander. He's awesome.
I just
And-
like with Zemo, the guy named Helmet never wears one.
And he also has the best, like, I'm not messing around. So there's a point where we think he's dead, and then he comes back. I think it's issue 100. And to establish that Cobra Commander is evil, we literally have a panel of him just kicking a dog.
That's great.
And he also is.
I'm not falling asleep anymore. This is hilarious.
And the Marvel Comics version is so incompetent because
Just like the 80s cartoon.
because well, more complexly. So the thing is, Cobra's more interesting than G.I. Joe because Cobra's always infighting. Like everyone's trying to screw everyone over, and everyone has their own agendas. But this is all happening under Cobra Commander's watch, and like 50% of conversations everyone in Cobra has is, how are we going to get rid of Cobra Commander so we can run Cobra? And he just lets it happen. And eventually, there's a point when they bring in Serpentor and he gets jealous of Serpentor because everyone loves him. Oh, I love the Marvel G.I. Joe comics. But yeah, Cobra is super cool.
Dan, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is Dr. Octopus.
Yeah.
I like Dr. Octopus a lot because, I mean, obviously he's Peter Parker if he was just kind of a bad person.
Yeah.
I like the comic book version where he's a little bit more of just kind of a greedy guy. But I also like the Raimi movie version where he's a little bit more tragic too.
I considered putting Ultimate Dr. Octopus on my list.
Yeah,
Because I really like
he's
Ultimate
great in
Dr.
that too. And I just like him because he's involved in some of my favorite Spider-Man stories, like the Master Planner story and Leon Ditko's run, Death of Captain Stacy, a whole bunch of great Spider-Man stories from back in the day. Dr. Octopus is the main villain, and obviously the big debate among Spider-Man fans is always who's the arch enemy of Spider-Man, Green Goblin or Dr. Octopus, and I like both of them. I like Green Goblin more, and I think there's a better argument for him. But
I think the argument comes down to what's more important, like quality or quantity. Like Dr. Octopus is there more because he didn't die,
right?
But Goblin is involved in more actual like events that affected Peter Parker.
Exactly. Yeah, he's more intimately involved in his personal life because you have like once they reveal it's Norman, like we get a whole entire subplots about him losing his mind and stuff like that. I feel like he's just a more fleshed out character than Dr. Octopus.
It's that spectacular like one shot, right?
There was an old magazine, sort of like you were talking about yesterday, the black and white magazines that Marvel did, and that's the scene where Norman Osborn invites Peter over for dinner that they adapt in the Raimi films, and they have this like really intense dinner scene that's really cool.
I like the spectacular
Dr. Octopus?
Yeah, he's cool.
Because he's really serious and he's awesome.
Yeah.
The glasses are really
I love when he leaves, when the arms come to get him, when he's leaving that meeting with Cletus Cassidy, the like villains meeting, and he's like, "No, don't take me!" And his legs just steal him. His arms just steal him.
That's great stuff.
Yeah, Jason and Freddy keep talking about how funny Dr. Octopus is in that show.
Yeah, he's great. So yeah, Dr. Octopus definitely one of my favorites.
And I think the argument sometimes with, or for me anyway, between Dr. Octopus and Norman Osborn, it kind of boils down to psychological complexity versus just like raw, super villain, megalomania.
I think Dr. Octopus is a more obvious flip of Peter Parker. Like when you're looking at those characters from like the I want to say ground view, but the opposite, the sky view. When you're looking at those characters, from above, he's the more obvious, the top-down view. He's the more obvious. This is the flip of Peter Parker.
Yeah, and the thing with Norman Osborn that I've always like, I guess I'll talk about him probably a little bit later.
Yeah.
What? Is he on the list?
Yeah.
I'm so surprised.
I'll save it for that, actually.
I'm so surprised. Okay, you should go to mine then.
Yeah,
okay.
go for it.
My number 5 is specifically Terrence Stamp's General Zod.
Is there another General Zod? Did they ever use that character again?
I wish I could get excited about him in other media. It hasn't really happened yet.
He's so boring in everything else.
Generally speaking, that's the case.
There was some cool stuff during 52. I remember the Villains Month one-shot I thought was
You know what? I did like that, now that you say that.
I like,
but I feel like every time you see him, he's a different character to some degree.
Yeah.
And he was interesting during the New Krypton stuff.
I like the Russian General Zod. That's a thing in the early 2000s. Is there's just a Russian general named Zod?
That's awesome.
And he wears a red battle armor.
That's so cool.
I like him in Spider-Man. I mean, not Spider-Man 2, Superman 2.
That's one of those.
Terrence Stamp.
It's Terrence Stamp. Yeah. Zod is amazing in that because he's this short guy who thinks he's better than everybody and deserves to rule the world,
but he is better than everyone.
He is, and that's what's so much fun about it. And that is a guy who is incapable of being embarrassed. It just doesn't matter what nothing will ever phase him. And like there's this scene, I've talked about this before, where he's just standing in the back. I think it's because Terrence Stamp has so much fun with that role, where he just stands in the background while Ursa is arm wrestling a guy examining pie. And that's like now my definitive General Zod moment is just, I'm going to take over this entire planet, this measly, backwards planet, including this strange food. And I don't know. I love one of the best villain lines in anything is I see you are practice worshiping things that fly. That's really great.
Yeah, we'll find him.
No, and of course I want to love that Zod. I mean, I really did.
I love that line just because we joke about it all the time.
We joke about it all the time.
Like when you were picking me up at the airport, we made jokes about that.
But he's an interesting idea before he's an interesting character.
Yeah, sure.
Which is unfortunate.
And wasn't Zod a really obscure?
And Zod also is just like we were talking about with Dr. Octopus and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He's just obviously a complete flip. I wasn't raised here. I wasn't raised by these people, and obviously also I tried to take over my old planet too. But he shows up with all these powers, and well, why not take over everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm a god here. Don't I deserve it?
And isn't Zod, or was he a really obscure character before?
He was.
He's one of like a bunch of just random Kryptonian criminals that showed up. Like,
okay.
It could have also been Jack Sur, or
Yeah.
there's the other one that also is kind of.
Who they've used more and more in things.
Well, and Jack Sur, I only know because he's in the animated series. They intentionally don't do Zod in the animated series. They just use a different Kryptonian.
Well, I think
villain.
they bring him in Smallville too. I think there's somebody named that.
Probably.
And of course, he's like a different character too every time you see him. But
He's a scientist.
Zod.
in the animated series.
Smallville had two different versions of Zod that were characterized entirely differently.
Well, we have two different versions of Jor-El, so it's just
So why not?
inconsistent.
So it makes sense. Yeah.
And Jimmy Olsen too, right? Isn't there two
Well,
Jimmy Olsens?
That's a whole other ball of wax.
Okay.
No, there's a continuity thing they do with that.
Oh,
This
okay.
is just complete retcon.
Oh, I see.
Zod is played by Rosenbaum as Lex. He takes over his body.
Oh.
And it's pretty cool, actually.
Huh.
I mean, there's things about it that are stupid, but it's a lot of fun to watch Michael Rosenbaum play Zod. I mean,
Yeah.
I like that a lot. I don't want to say that's like the second best Zod or anything, but I like the performance. And then later they do season 9, I think they bring in Zod.
It's that like military brat kid,
Yes,
right?
yeah, and I didn't like that at all. But that actor was well. There were things about it that were okay here and there, but
He was like 22.
it was hard to get excited about it. Yeah. Jason, let's go on to number 4.
Okay, my number 4
Yeah.
is Bizarro.
You like Bizarro?
Yeah.
Let's go into a lot of Superman villains.
Yeah.
I like Bizarro because,
He's bizarre. Move on.
You have to do this whole thing in Bizarro speak.
He's Superman.
Me am not like Bizarro
He's Superman.
because he is so intelligent.
He's Superman, but he's opposite Superman.
That's right.
what I like to call him, opposite Superman.
Yeah, he's kind of like the reverse Flash of Superman.
Now I don't know how much Bizarro you've seen, Jason, but do you like? And you guys can answer this too. Do you like Bizarro from Bizarro World Bizarro or Clone Bizarro? Because we've done them both.
I like animated series Bizarro where he starts as a clone, but he's given Bizarro World.
Oh yeah.
I like just the one from
Bizarro World's a
Bizarro World.
square.
Bizarro
Yeah, it
World.
is. I like the
great.
miniseries a lot that Jeff Johns did about Bizarro World. You ever read that?
Yeah,
I read that.
I
It's
think
pretty
I
good.
think I have that.
It's pretty good. That's the version I prefer just because that's the only thing I've ever seen Bizarro in where I thought he was like really interesting.
I love All-Star Superman Bizarro.
Oh yeah, he's cool in that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about
Where
it.
we go to the Bizarro World that's full of like Bizarro Batman and Bizarro
Yeah, yeah.
It's great. It's great.
Yeah, and then they got really into Bat Zorro for a while during the Loeb stuff.
Yeah.
Did they?
Oh yeah,
Okay. Weird.
and he's got an action figure. And yeah. You don't know about Bat Zorro?
I don't know anything
They
about
they
Bizarro.
put his like symbol on T-shirts and stuff too.
Oh yeah, he was really popular.
What does the
for a while,
Batman
yeah.
symbol look like flipped? I feel like it's the same.
No, it's not. The thing about the bat symbol, it's got a big point at the bottom. It's got these, and then it's got curves.
Oh,
up.
do they do it
flip
upside
that over.
down?
Yeah, they do it
Yeah.
upside down.
Oh, okay. I was like, it's the same.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I
okay.
can see what you're saying.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. Yeah, no, they turn it upside down.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they put it on chest that way, and it's great. Yeah.
Okay.
I wish it was flipped, and it's like it's different.
In fact, we have a Lego minifig of Bat Zorro.
I just have to find
Who
the
knew?
helmet.
The first Lego Justice League movie is the Bizarro League, and they have all the Bizarro versions of the Justice League. They put Bat Zorro in that. It's not their best movie, but it's funny.
Yeah, it is.
You know who else loves Bizarro? My wife,
Really?
she loves Bizarro.
And Salman Grande.
Yep. Hmm.
That's funny.
Sarah has interesting taste in villains. Yeah.
I mean, Bizarro has been cool. I can see why she'd like him.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's been tragic and he's been funny.
Yeah,
He's been
that's
all
true.
over the spectrum.
Like with so many things, 52 Bizarro is awful because they try to do the clone thing in like as serious a way as possible, and it's ridiculous.
Who did that? Was it Jeff Johns?
I
In
forget.
Justice League? I remember where he first showed up.
But no, Bizarro I think was in Superman first.
He was? Okay.
I think.
I'm not sure.
I forget.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, they do a stupid thing with it where I can't remember exactly what it was. I'm trying to remember.
It's related to
where-
Lex Luthor, isn't it?
Yeah, but what I was gonna say is like the name is like they come up with Bizarro because his code letters and numbers look like Bizarro.
Oh,
And
that's weird.
Yeah, it's really silly.
Huh.
Do you remember in the Man of Steel miniseries where the guy's like, scientist's like, he looks bizarre, and like he's distracted, he's like, oh! And then that's how he gets Bizarro.
Oh, I forgot all about that. I didn't love Bizarro in that.
No, he wasn't great.
I liked him. Just thinking about it, I liked it. Bizarro in the Alan Moore Superman stuff too. He's briefly in that, and he's kind of cool.
Oh, I
forgot Alan
forgot
Moore's
about
stuff.
that.
Yeah. In the way it's collected, I think it's in the Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow.
Yeah, I can remember which story it was.
Oh yeah, I have read Whatever Happened to Man Tomorrow. You're right,
Yeah.
Bizarro's in that.
Yeah, he's at the very beginning. Superman
Yeah.
fights him.
We almost reviewed that once.
Yes, we did.
We
We've
didn't,
almost reviewed
but-
a lot of things.
Yeah, but I mean, we actually read for that one.
Yeah.
I had read that before, but
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Are we at 5?
we are at. Now we're at 4.
We're at 4. Oh yes. Number 4 is Scarecrow.
Scarecrow version.
I don't have Jeffrey Combs.
There's a lot of good versions of
Yeah,
Scarecrow.
yeah. Jeffrey Combs Scarecrow.
I think
Cillian Murphy
I think
Scarecrow.
Arkham might. Cillian Murphy. I think Scarecrow also.
It is Cillian,
It's
yeah.
Cillian.
I intentionally said Cillian. I was like, I always say it wrong. I always say it right this time.
I think
Cillian Murphy.
that Arkham might be my favorite Scarecrow also, but I don't know. Well, maybe not over Begins. I don't know. Anyway.
I really like Begins. I really like Jeffrey Combs Scarecrow in the New Adventures of Batman. That's the best redesign they
With the
did.
new-
Yeah, he's so
Yeah.
cool in that. So
Yeah.
scary.
We've got that figure at work, and I kind of like it.
Yeah.
It's real pretty. I don't know what it is about Scarecrow. I like the aesthetics of it. I like because I also like Mysterio on the Spider-Man side. Like I like the hallucination fear thing. I don't have a good reason for liking Scarecrow. I just really like Scarecrow. He's my favorite Batman villain.
Yeah, my favorite kind of Scarecrow actually is Injustice 2 Scarecrow.
Yeah,
He's cool.
The design in that is pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, but he is derived pretty hard from Arkham Scarecrow.
but he looks like Strawman Ultron, and I think that's kind of cool.
And I just love the scythe with the
Yeah.
chain. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I like a Scarecrow that is. I like both these versions. I like a Scarecrow that is scary without fear toxin, but I also like a Scarecrow that's not.
Yeah.
He needs it to be scary.
Yeah.
And Scarecrow's a villain where, like, there are no, like, great grand Scarecrow stories everyone recognizes, but there's a lot of really good little ones.
He's usually in the background of things.
There's some really good stuff from the 70s and the 80s. There's a two-parter that happens. There are 2 fill-in issues during Dini's run on Detective that's really good.
Does he show it all? Because the only Danny O'Neill Batman I've read is the Ra's al Ghul stuff. Does he show up in that at all?
He does. All I remember from that story is that he's on top of a giant slide.
Oh.
I don't remember anything else. I just remember he's on top of a giant slide. He's got something in his hand.
I
He's
suddenly
like,
had
"Don't
this
come up this
flash."
slide, Batman."
That's hilarious.
I suddenly have this flash of Scarecrow on a slide. Dan, what is your number 4?
My number 4 is the Kingpin.
He is one of my runner-ups.
I debated on whether to put Kingpin or Bullseye on this list, and I decided on the Kingpin because the thing I've always thought was really cool about him in Miller's Daredevil, rereading Born Again, I was kind of reminded about it, is that the Kingpin doesn't start out with this like grand obsession with Daredevil that you guys mentioned earlier as being kind of a cliche with villains now.
Mm-hmm.
He just views him as kind of a speck, and he's so scary because of the scope of his power. And the thing
It takes him a long time before he finally realizes this is a really major threat.
exactly, and the Born Again story,
Or maybe even before Daredevil really is that much of a threat.
yeah, and the Born Again story, I find it to be really interesting where that's where we develop the obsession with Daredevil and the Kingpin in that...
Is that where it starts?
Well, yeah. The story is all about how the Kingpin views Matt Murdock as this little, like, fly he can smush with his power, and he's the one person that he can't do that to, despite the fact that he's so insignificant. Seemingly.
Which is interesting because when he's introduced in
It's
Miller's
like he falls through
run,
the cracks or something.
Yeah.
if I recall correctly, it's been a while since I read that stuff, but if I remember correctly, at the beginning of Miller's run, he's like, he has to be told about Daredevil.
Yeah.
Like someone's like, yeah, there's this guy who keeps messing with some of our like shipments and stuff, and
Yeah.
things like Daredevil's not on his radar at all.
The Kingpin kind of had the perception of Daredevil that like the Marvel audience did, like where he was just kind of a B-level character that no one really cared about. And
Which is just really realistic in a city full of superheroes.
exactly. And I don't know, Miller's take on that character is really fascinating, and obviously I've liked him ever since. He's cool in the Spider-Man, stuff where Romita draws him, but he, like Miller says, he's just kind of fat man and uses his belly to fight.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's a great character. I like him a lot.
And we do a lot of sometimes great, obviously criminal politics stuff, and
Oh, yeah.
and like the Kingpin I like is the chess player that's 4 steps ahead.
Yeah.
and we find way like he could very easily just be Lex Luthor. I mean, it's really easy for them to be exactly the same character. What I like about Kingpin is that I guess depending on the version, both of those guys very often, excuse me, are self-made men, I suppose. But one much more slummy than the other.
Yeah. I really do like the version, and they've done this in the comics too, for the TV show, where he's a guy that's sort of he's like a terrible person masquerading as a high society, like
That's exactly
sort of
right.
person. They're doing that sort of thing with him right now in the comics, where he's supposedly gone straight and is out of the criminal business.
And a lot of that's been pretty good.
Yeah, it has been pretty cool. So yeah, there's a lot of different versions of there.
I
They're
think
great.
besides the TV show, which might be my definitive favorite version.
Yeah,
now,
he's great in that.
I think my favorite Kingpin actually is Aaron's in Punisher Max.
I've never read that stuff, but I remember you always saying it's great.
And
I'm gonna have to check that out
the
at some point.
first arc, or maybe it's the second arc. I think it's the first arc. Is all from his perspective, and it's about him with Punisher in the background.
Cool.
And you follow him the whole time.
Cool.
And it's a wonderful character study.
I think it is the first arc, because I've seen those
'Cause it's-
trades before.
yeah, 'cause
he's
it's-
on the cover of them.
One arc is Kingpin. One arc is Bullseye, and then we finally, I think that the last arc is Punisher.
I
Or
need to
maybe
read that
it's-
stuff if Kingpin and
Am I right
Bullseye are the
about that?
focus
It's
of
been
it.
a while since I've read that.
Is
but yeah.
Elektra in that too?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Cool.
Not if memory serves, no. But,
Okay.
yeah. Moving right along. My number 4 is Thanos.
Thanos is pretty great.
I love Thanos. I love specifically the smiley, having a lot of joy in everyone else's pain and death version, the Starlin version. That's the one I prefer.
My Thanos is whiny teenager Thanos, who makes.
There's a whiny teenager Thanos.
Oh, Infinity Gauntlet is whiny teenager Thanos.
I guess so. He's
so mopey
Well,
around death.
That's true, but he also, when he gets the gauntlet, is having so much fun.
He is, but
I love that.
He's so pathetic.
Yeah, that's true. That's
he
great.
takes planets, smashes them together, and makes his name out of planets. And he's like, look how cool that is, Dad. Isn't that cool? Why don't you love me? Like, oh, but I made my name.
Yeah, he's that pathetic freckled kid that is constantly putting notes in the girl's locker that he likes, you know, and like trying to spell her name out in macaroni and cheese or something. Yeah. But anyway, I love Thanos. Everybody knows that. Jason.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna write a story where some kid makes a girl's name in macaroni and cheese.
My number 3
Yeah.
is Loki.
Very nice. Loki's great.
Yep.
Wow, I'm surprised it's on your list.
Yep.
Jason, your list is really good.
It really is.
If he doesn't say so himself.
What do you want to say about Loki?
Where Loki's just this 3-headed man.
3 heads?
I mean,
Loki does not have 3 heads.
I mean,
He has 2 horns.
My favorite version is the one with 3 heads.
I mean the 2-headed Loki.
I like Loki Beeblebrox.
He went from 3 to 2. He's like, no, I mean the 2-headed Loki.
Jason, do you know who Loki is?
Yeah.
Did you change this at some point?
He's talking about the time, there's the male Loki and then the female Loki where he possesses Sif's body.
Yeah.
But I meant 2 horns.
Oh, okay.
2 horns.
2 horns, right. You thought they were 3 and that they were heads. Anyway, what do you want to say about Loki?
Where he what his favorite dishes is just popcorn.
What are you-
It's really fun.
What are you talking about?
Is it superhero spawn?
In a Lego
Oh, okay,
thing,
okay.
he loves.
Have you
loves
seen
Loki.
very much Loki? In anything?
It's probably that Maximum Overdrive Lego.
Oh,
portable
yes,
thing.
that thing. Yeah.
Where he throws the
Forgot about that.
snowballs. Is it
Yeah.
that one?
No, it's.
Oh, never mind.
We haven't seen that in a while.
I don't remember what it's called,
Okay.
but I like it.
Cool.
I should show it to you.
Well, one of the things about reading the early Thor stuff that's interesting, specifically with the horns you were talking about, is that goes away really early. Like, they changed his costume into what it looks like in Simonson's run with, like, the black headdress with the
I always
gold
thought it was
things.
weird when I started Simonson that he doesn't have the horn.
Yeah, they got rid of that, and that's kind of like the standard design Kirby uses for the rest of their run.
I
That's
love.
so weird.
Yeah.
Because he's never drawn that way
Yeah.
by like other artists.
Yeah.
I
exactly.
love that he's an evil brother.
Yeah, that is a
love
really
that-
cool thing.
I
Can you
love,
sit back?
Is it because you have an evil brother?
kind of.
Freddy is kind of the two-year-old god of mischief.
I
Yeah.
actually have an evil best friend.
Oh.
Okay, that's cool.
I don't like him.
Is that? But he's my best friend. He's going out. His dad's name doesn't have to be Lionel. It doesn't, because I think you should probably stop associating with that kid immediately.
Yeah.
Look, he's in
That's just gonna make him hang out with him more.
He's in my school.
Let's go ahead and move on. Eric,
My number
what is
3.
your number 3, sir?
He's Kingpin.
Kingpin.
It's great.
Now we're going to start getting into something we've talked about already. I imagine.
Yeah.
Well, not the rest of my list, but I love Kingpin. I love Miller's Kingpin, and I also love Bendis's Kingpin.
Yeah,
I think
he's
Bendis has
great
a
in that
real
too.
definitive take on that character. He's just there's an elegant savagery to Kingpin that I really love. That he is because he's not just playing at being sophisticated. He is sophisticated, but he'll also crush your skull with his massive hand.
He, more than probably anybody else in that world, has lived in both of those worlds, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love the Kingpin. I love the
He
white
gets
suit.
the underbelly and he gets the high society more than anybody.
And that's kind of like Matt Murdock, because he's an attorney. Like, he runs in those circles, like the high society circles too. But he's also a vigilante that beats up people in the worst neighborhood in New York at night.
Yeah, and deep down, they're both still gruff and maybe even vicious to the core.
Yeah, I mean, look at Matt's upbringing.
I also love
they're survivors.
Yeah.
Spider-Man constantly making fat jokes at Kingpin.
Yeah, but one of the
It's
ones in the
always
trailers for the new video game, he like talks to Kingpin on a cell phone while he's in jail, and he's in like the orange jumpsuit, and he's like, "Oh, nice jumpsuit, slimming." It's great. Yeah.
But no, Kingpin's just a really interesting. I love his relationship with his wife. I think that's fascinating. I don't know how that keeps going. Like we've had like 3 definitive ends for
That's
that
also part
relationship.
of why I love the Aaron stuff with him, because his wife is really
Oh,
interesting,
nice.
and you see how they get together in the first place.
Oh,
and,
cool.
Yeah. Wait. I'm trying to remember. Is that what they did with that? I forget now. It's been a while.
The stuff that Vanessa does, or the stuff that Miller does with Vanessa is really interesting, and same for Bendis and Brubaker. Brubaker does some interesting stuff with Vanessa. He's a great character.
No, they're already married. I'm conflating that with Daredevil anyway, because there's just too many versions of Kingpin in my head right now.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because that the first season of Daredevil shows them get together, but as far as I know, we never see that in the comics.
Yeah.
they're already together.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Kingpin's great.
What is your 3?
My number 3 is Magneto.
Yeah.
Magneto.
Magneto.
I really like Magneto because obviously he's like the big he's the big X-Men villain, but I also like him because he's a really interesting character ideologically, because he's a product of the Nazi regime. He just kind of became the opposite reflection of the bigotry that he was a victim of, and I think that's a really pertinent thing to be talking about in today's world, and at all times, really. I mean, it's kind of an eternal sort of struggle that people go through, of being so extreme, out of extreme circumstances. Hatred breeds more hatred, that kind of thing.
And what's horrifying is how much truth there is in what he says.
Exactly, yeah. That's why...
The fact that he can be that extreme and he's right about stuff.
Yeah.
It's just really scary.
Yeah, he's a really tortured character. Everything about him is so cool, and I don't know, the World War II ties have always gotten to me because I like history a lot, and, his origins there, I think,
Let me
are
ask
really
you this.
interesting.
I didn't know about the World War II thing with him until I saw the first X-Men movie, and I wonder how much we were driving that home in the comics, because I don't think we really make a big deal out of it in the TV show.
Claremont's the guy that
Claremont
gives
does
him that background. Like, he's just kind of a throwaway bad guy in the Stan Lee stuff, and before, like, when who was doing X-Men with Neil Adams before?
It's Roy Thomas.
Roy Thomas. Okay.
Magneto is the X-Men's arch nemesis solely because he is in every other issue of X-Men.
Yeah.
Does he still have the same motivations though? Is he still like Children
No,
of the
he's
Atom weird?
much more just Stan Lee.
So he doesn't really have an
I
ideology?
mean, he's kind of the Malcolm X, Martin Luther King reflection, but he's much more mustache. Really, he doesn't really have a reason for it.
I mean, they have the brotherhood of evil mutants.
Yeah, he's just kind of like
and he calls it that.
Yeah.
he's just kind of like I have more power than
Talking
you.
about things in comics that sound stupid.
Yeah, he's just kind of like I have more power than you, and therefore like I deserve to rule the world. Whereas like it comes from a more personal, like tortured place when you get to Claremont with the World War II background and stuff.
And it takes Claremont a little bit. That's interesting because I feel like once Claremont finds him, he immediately starts him on the road to redemption. That's the rest of his run. Like,
Yeah.
in the history of X-Men, Magneto has not been a villain for a very long time. Like, he is a good guy most of the time.
And if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Claremont's original intention to kill off Professor Xavier permanently and then have Magneto take over and be
that
the
was
leader of
supposed
the
to
X-Men?
be 500, 6, or whatever the 100 he was nearest to when he left. The intention was Xavier was going to die and Magneto was going to take over.
Yeah.
And then
and
the
Magneto,
idea that like he would find a middle ground, but he'd be more realistic than Xavier was.
Yeah, I think so.
Or was he
Magneto's
just not even going to try to integrate?
Because Magneto
in
is the
society?
mentor figure to the New Mutants for most of the New Mutants run.
Okay.
Like, he's already doing the kind of the schoolmaster thing.
Wow.
And then they kind of did that idea in Age of Apocalypse, but it's an alternate universe kind of thing, where he's the leader of the X-Men.
Yeah. And he's dating Rogue.
Yeah, which is really weird.
People.
Fascinating.
Something
Especially
with
given the
magnetism.
age difference.
Yeah. Well, he has been de-aged to a baby and then re-aged to probably a younger
Sure,
age.
yeah, sure.
How much longer can we do that World War II thing realistically?
I mean, it's not at this point.
Yeah.
It's not realistic
Not at all.
I mean, he was de-aged to a baby and then re-aged.
Yeah,
so that
sure.
was just going to catch all forever.
We can't say not too distant future and then have that.
Right,
Like,
right.
We can't say 2017 and have him be...
No.
Like, he must do... Like, at best, he was, like, born in, 45.
Yeah. But they always make it seem like he was a
Right.
kid in the concentration camp.
Yeah, I
so,
know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're going to have to
it's
deal with
not
that at some
working.
point.
Yeah, we are desperate to keep holding on, clinging to our parents or our grandparents came from that era because people love, working in there and it's interesting and it felt so black and white and we don't, in our lifetimes, we haven't had an era like that.
It's ironic because people didn't like working in that era.
Of course, yeah.
And there are certainly like Holocaust type events that you could update Magneto and put him in, but he would have to be from an entirely different country and it would change the character quite a bit.
Yeah, you could put him in, like, Vietnam or something.
Yeah, or, like,
Russian.
And
Yeah.
Yeah. But it
Or
would
in
be something
China,
that was-
but that would be really different too.
Yeah. You'd have to completely alter that character.
But you would have to educate people because it would be something people aren't as familiar with.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, any way you slice, it'd be something that's not as global.
And the whole racial connotation thing with that's always been at the core of X-Men, talking about the civil rights era when it was when it first began. Like, there's not really an analogous event where like people were put into camps because of their race like that I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, well,
that people are
supremacy
as familiar with.
Over,
you know?
yeah, because more often is, I mean, like you'll have racial components, but there's always something else to it.
Right, like you could do the Russian thing, but the people that
It's
were put,
religious or it's political.
yeah, the people that were put in the gulags were enemies of the state. They weren't like
Didn't they round up
racially- yeah.
gypsies? You could make...
yeah,
I'm
they
sure
did
he got
do that
gypsy
stuff.
connections.
Sure.
But yeah, it's going against our worldview.
Right.
Before it's just you don't look like Oz.
Yeah, and the racial thing was a part of the Nazis' worldview, but yeah.
And obviously there was a lot of racism and bigotry in Vietnam, but some of that was like our soldiers and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
My number three
Yes.
is the Riddler.
Very nice.
Most certainly, and
We already talked about him. What's your number?
I also won't pick. Hey! I also won't pick a specific version on this because there's a lot of Riddlers I like. Obviously, I'm obsessed with Gorshin as an actor before anything. Just that take on it. I mean, obviously, there's not a ton to that particular version of the character as far as like ideology or philosophy or complexity, but the manic way he played him is really defined that character ever since then. And I'm just excited about where we are with the Riddler right now, where he's considered a real contender now. As like a scary Batman villain that is that can present a real mental challenge for.
I'm glad we
for
never
Batman.
used that. Do you remember in the beginning of Snyder's run when we have that fake out where Batman's with all the supervillains in
Yeah.
Arkham, and Riddler's redesign is that his hair is buzz cut in
Oh,
it's
yeah,
green
I
and it's
forgot.
got a question mark.
Hated that.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I'm glad we didn't run with
I
that.
didn't run with that.
But that so looks like what DCEU would do with it.
Yeah, by the time Snyder got around to using the Riddler, like everyone kind of revolted against a lot of those designs, so they kind of just went back to the classic.
I think
animated
even by the
series
time
design.
Death of the Family happened, Riddler's more traditional. Because I know Joker has that conversation where he's like, "You used to be a big deal, and now you're Joker."
Yeah, he just kind of looks like the animated series design in that,
So-
from what I remember. The
With
red hair and stuff.
the guy who's making, was it Matt? What's his name? Matt Reeves.
Matt Reeves,
The,
the,
the
Batman
guy,
director?
the guy making the new Batman movie, talking about that as a noir thing. If the villain's not Riddler, I'll be real surprised.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be awesome.
yeah.
That'd be really cool.
Jason, let's move on. Who's your number 2? Getting down to the wire, gentlemen.
Fuzzy Lumpkins.
Your number 2? That's
Of all of the
of all
Powerpuff
the
Girl
Powerpuff
villains.
Girls. I mean, Powerpuff Girls has a great hysterical rogues gallery, but Lumpkins over. Okay.
well, he does that rock thing.
Well, I love
But yeah, over Mojo, over him. Okay, all right.
him. Well,
Even
because
Princess, Bright
I
Red.
like
because
Princess,
he's
but-
hilarious.
He is pretty
And
funny.
my favorite
Evil
line
Get
that he
off
does.
of my property.
Is that line is my favorite line.
Oh, okay, all right.
You blew it. He was gonna say it. You
Did
took
you
that
just
from him.
happen to read a comic with Fuzzy Lumpkins in the last 4 hours?
No.
Okay.
It was a book. Not a comic book. It was a Stolly book.
So Fuzzy Lumpkins.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a
I
doll.
was with that list until just now. Eric, what is your? I'm just kidding. What is your number 2?
My number 2 is Obadiah Stane.
Really?
Yeah. Obadiah Stane is everything that everyone loves about Lex Luthor, but about 10 years before Lex Luthor got any of that.
Yeah.
He's a bald master manipulator corporate tycoon who does the chess thing better than anyone else because he makes it like at this point everyone's a chess master. We always have like characters playing chess.
Maman.
He's got that, but he takes it literally, and his minions are the chessmen, and they're built around chess pieces.
That's awesome. Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And he,
I've
like-
never read a comic with that
and
character.
he's-
Now, maybe he was in Fraction. I can't remember.
Ezekiel is, but
Ezekiel,
that was,
yeah.
Obadiah has never come back. He kills himself.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
He
So
will. Someday he
he's
will. You can come back from suicide. and
he's
Like Craven.
yeah.
Sorry.
It's not too similar. Just kind of repulsor blast his head off.
wow.
But he the way he views chess, like a lot of times we use chess as like just metaphor, like it's a smart person, they think ahead. He literally thinks in chess. Like everything is a chess move to him. It's how he works through things. And there were a few villains that have as utterly defeated a hero as he did. He reintroduces Tony Stark to alcoholism. Like Tony Stark is a recovered alcoholic, and he makes him an alcoholic again. He takes his company. Like there's a year where Tony Stark is just a drunken bum stumbling around the streets.
Oh, jeez.
And this is when Rhodey is Iron Man because Tony can't be anymore.
And he just emotionally manipulated him.
And then when he loses, he won't even lose. Like he takes himself out. He's just a really fascinating
Oh,
character.
interesting.
Yeah.
Where it's like I deserve to lose, or to I
Well,
lost.
He can't fix
Yeah.
failure, so he'd rather kill himself.
Yeah,
Oh, that's fascinating.
he's a really cool character.
That is
and
cool.
like there's a cold logic to that. Where he's not making decisions
And
based on
there's no
emotion.
good way out. He's like there's not a way he can fix himself. He's gonna go to prison. He might as well take himself out.
Wow.
Yeah, Eric, you present a brilliant pitch. I'd like to read that. Like that
Yeah.
sounds
That's
wonderful.
all Dennis O'Neill's one. It's great.
Okay.
It's weird at the beginning. He's got a big diamond in his forehead. Nobody knows why, and then that just stops having that for after. It's real weird.
He just thought he was Mr. Sinister, and then he wasn't.
Is that
doing
when he becomes a prominent Iron Man villain, or does he show up in the Michelinian?
No,
stuff
he
too?
O'Neill creates him, and O'Neill has like a 50-issue run, and
Didn't know that either.
and then and then he dies, and nobody ever brings him back.
Interesting.
There's a great bit in Fraction's run though, where Ezekiel's talking about his dad. He goes, "My dad used to have a big diamond in his head. Do you know why? Because he was crazy."
That's awesome.
What is your because I'm sitting here like, do diamonds have anything to do with chess? Like, what is your number 2?
My number 2 is Loki.
Yeah.
Loki's has shot up this list much more for me.
Is it because he has 3 heads?
Yes, of course.
Is it because he has 2 heads?
I've always really liked Loki, even
Because he
before.
likes popcorn?
Even before I was a big Thor fan, I always thought he was an interesting character. But getting more I'm reading Simonson and the JMS stuff, and now the Stan Lee Jack Kirby stuff. I really like Loki. I think he's a great character. I like that he's a character defined by a spurned relationship with all of his family members, and it makes him really bitter and evil and stuff. I don't know. I think that's a really interesting motivation for a character. It's very Shakespearean, of course, like a character whose primary motivation is not being cared for. I don't know. I've seen that done with so many heroic characters. I like Aquaman. He's a character of 2 worlds, doesn't really belong anywhere, and he's a good guy, and that's his motivation. Like motivation to be good. And Loki, it's just he's evil because of that reason. I think that's really interesting.
Well, and it is the favored son and
Yeah.
and the disliked son, and he always has that jealousy, and he's not wrong.
Right. Exactly.
Like Thor is the favored son. It's not that kind of delusional thing where it's like, well, he likes you better. No, he does like him better.
Well, in Lee and Kirby's run, when Odin is a crazy person, he just says that all the time. He's like, Thor, my favorite son! When Loki's sitting right next to him.
I'm so glad you're here. I've been sitting with Loki this whole time.
Yeah, and Odin will just listen to Loki's advice about what to do to Thor. Loki will just be like, Odin, Thor can't love mortals. He's like, yes, you're right, Loki, let's kill her. And things like that. It's awesome. And of course, Loki's a master manipulator, as you've seen in the Simonson run on Thor. He's great in that. And
and he's got that in Straczynski stuff.
Yes, he does.
I love Loki in the Straczynski stuff.
I still need to read that. I've got it.
It's only 3 volumes.
No?
And it doesn't have an ending.
Yeah. And Loki's design is just great. Like I even
Cool, that makes you want to read it right away.
I mean, it has an ending, but it's these are my things and you can't have them.
Yeah, the end to that run is disappointing just because you felt like he could have went a few more years and
Well, he
extended
wanted
stuff
to.
up. Yeah.
But it's a whole thing with Bill where it's just like, I was doing this and no one else will.
Yeah. And Loki's design is just great. I love the design with the 2 horns, but I also love the design with the black headdress and the cape and stuff.
I really like how they did it in the film.
Yeah.
Where I really like the way the helmet looks and he's got the green coat and everything.
Yeah, it's really cool. And Hiddleston just kills it in that role. He's perfect casting. If he ever leaves, I kind of don't want to see that character ever again.
Well, the good thing is he's kind of a shapeshifter. He's one of the characters you could recast.
That's true, yeah.
And for some reason, my face is stuck looking like this now.
And Loki...
Didn't we have a girl Loki at some point?
Yeah,
that's in
Straczynski.
his run on Thor.
I can see him do that.
He takes over Sif's body. That's why he's a girl.
That would be
And-
really interesting to see if that actress could pull that
And
off.
Yeah.
it's a whole big reveal. You don't actually know it's Sif.
Oh, sorry.
Oh. Well, now I do.
But
Or I don't think you know it's Sif. Maybe I'm wrong.
the interesting thing about Loki when he shows up originally is he looks like an old man. He's not like a pretty boy. He's got like a lot of wrinkles on his face.
That's
and stuff.
right. Yeah.
So if you could cast older for him potentially too.
Yeah.
I
Loki's
thought
great.
Jason Aaron did go through Thor.
Yeah, Jason Aaron's Thor is great.
But we were talking about a girl Loki.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
Girl
should
Girl
bring
Loki's a
that back and then
different
put them,
Girl
make,
Loki
put
is
them
in
together. That'd be interesting.
Mini Movers.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was right around when that was happening, yeah.
Cool.
That makes sense.
Yeah, he inadvertently and doesn't realize it has learned a whole lot about a particular era of Marvel through comics making fun of it and for
He just
children,
keeps
sort of.
reading it.
Yeah, he's got it all memorized at this point. My number 2 is Galactus.
Good choice.
I love Galactus. He's a force of nature that has a conscience but can't do anything about it if he wants to survive. I just love that.
Mm-hmm.
Like he has to eat planets. And you know in order to survive, and he knows that he's hurting people, and he wishes he didn't have to do that, but he's done it for so long. He's also cold about it. He's also totally emotionless about it. What's he gonna do about it? And he's real godlike, and he thinks about it that way. And he's like, you're not worthy to talk to me. You're gonna get killed now because I gotta eat your planet. And I also love the absurdity.
He's gotten
of
so
Galactus.
distant, he just stress eats planets.
Oh, and I love Galactus and Mini Movers because Hawkeye wants to work for him instead of Silver Surfer.
That's a
And
really
so
interesting team up.
Silver Surfer feels really bad because he's fired, and so Hawkeye's hired now, and
So does he make Hawkeye the Herald of Galactus?
yes,
That's hilarious.
Interesting.
yeah,
Huh.
because he climbs a vine.
I want somebody. I just thought of this. I want somebody to do a comic thing or just like a little publication that they put out where they pretend like there's been this ongoing newspaper called the Herald of Galactus, and it's just Galactus news.
You should start a blog called the Herald of Galactus.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that here. Oh, I'm gonna write some of my notes and crazy things.
You should go through all of Galactus's
Newspaper.
appearances and call it the Herald of Galactus.
That would be really cool.
Do it in like a newspaper.
Oh, and you mean like as the title of a series or something?
Yeah.
Herald of of Galactus. I love
Get me pictures of Galactus, Parker.
Get a
Galactus.
picture of like his cheek. or, like,
Galactus,
his eye.
friend or foe? I guess he's gonna eat us all. So
Well, now you can legitimately ask the question if he's a hero or menace, because he's a good guy now.
Yeah, that's right. Well, nobody would ask that question. He only brings life now. There's no question
true.
there any more than there was when he was eating planet.
True.
I love Ultimate Squared. I think it's really, really good, and I mean both of those books, but especially the Galactus side of it, and we also do some stuff with Molecule Man on that, so that's fun. I like him too, but man, Galactus, like having to deal with like finally not having to be that way anymore, and what can he bring to the world? And it's interesting because you think it would be it's kind of a Road to Redemption story, but not exactly, because he kind of still. Like he understands that he was just that way and there was nothing he could do about it. Like he sees himself still as a force of nature. He's just a different force of nature now. I don't know. That's kind of interesting.
That is cool.
Galactus is not a character that would be outside of what they're doing right now. All that interesting to read as a protagonist by himself.
Right.
But I just love him as this. He's such an absurd idea, but he's also this real grand, like classic epic idea too, like he's almost like a Homerish kind of idea.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that about him. He's almost like a Greek monster.
I wouldn't be surprised if Kirby was inspired by that stuff, because he loves mythology, and obviously like he adapts a lot of the Asgardian myths and the tales of Asgard, Bacchus and stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's inspired by some of that Greek stuff, for sure.
But yeah, like I said, I just also like the ridiculous of him.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
And, he's got that kilt early on, and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
And I love that that initially in his first story he's defeated by a Deus Ex Machina, because what else are you gonna do?
Right. It's
very funny.
Have you ever read any of John Byrne's run on Fantastic Four?
I don't think I have.
Because he does some I've only read about part of it, but he does some pretty cool stuff with Galactus at the beginning of it. Yeah, I think you should check it out.
I remember at the beginning of Hickman's run, which is all I've ever read of it, is at the very beginning when he meets the Council of Reeds. They're like, "Oh, you haven't got rid of your Galactus? That's the first thing we all do is we get rid of our Galactus."
That's awesome. And I also just really like his look. There's something just totally unmemorable about that.
Yeah.
I'm losing it. I'm tired. There's something like really memorable, unforgettable about that helmet.
Of course, yeah.
And I guess we're liking purple guys today.
Purple's the best color. I mean, that's my favorite one.
Got a lot of purple going on.
Yeah.
You know what I don't think we've ever done that we need to do?
What's that?
Galactus peeking over things, like planets or
he
moons.
comes up over.
Yeah, we're just kind of peeking over a planet.
Galactus,
What's going on over there, Pluto?
the one thing you can't do is be stealthy, buddy. You can't. Maybe I brought this up before, but when Suicide Squad, when
Galactus was on the Suicide Squad.
so Galactus, help us out. We're gonna blow you up. How did he get that chip in there?
What happens when the next Superman doesn't share our values? We'll get Galactus.
When he was on Superhero Squad, when that was out, and you remember who voiced him in that? He was George Takei.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, he was great.
That's a pretty good fit. That's funny.
Oh, he's hysterical.
Yeah.
And George Takei with Surfer Dude speaking Silver Surfer, just the best. But anyway, there was his action figure. I bought for a friend of mine at one point. I wish I bought one for me, but for whatever reason I bought that for a friend of mine at one point. And the back of the box, explaining who these characters are, is that Galactus flies around the galaxy looking for tasty planets to eat. I love that. Okay, we're on down to the number ones.
Yep.
Jason,
Do any of us, well, except for Jason, like we know what these are, right?
Yeah.
I know what his is, most assuredly. Yours, I guess I haven't even thought about.
I know. I totally know what dance is.
See, when you say that, I
Yeah.
feel like I guess I should
Of
know.
course I
You
know
should
what
know.
dance is.
You should feel bad.
I can't wait to see
I
who
should-
You're
yours
my
is.
friend.
Oh yeah, you totally know what mine is.
Well, I think it's
Let's-
because you blindsided me with so many of your picks that I'm just like, I don't know if I know Eric at all.
What is yours?
But and I'm trying to hold on. I'm trying to decide if I know if I should know. But then his second was Fuzzy Lumpkin, so who knows? Jason, what's your number one pick, sir?
Venom.
Is it Venom?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes. Venom.
I guess I should have guessed that because you hadn't really had any big Spider-Man villains on your list so far.
Yeah.
I was going to do Mysterio instead of Fuzzy Lumpkins, but I wanted to do a Powerpuff Girls one,
Yeah.
so I did Fuzzy Lumpkins.
Yeah. You know, I actually thought about Power Girls for a minute too, and I just couldn't get Mojo on the list.
Also a character with a brain.
Or Bubbles as Mojo Jojo.
Now that you say that, that should I'm gonna just cross something off here. There is a great episode of that show that I keep meaning to show you, and now that you're here, Jason's the one to see it too. We'll do that later.
Okay,
Let
cool.
me show you guys that. 'cause
Awesome.
It's great.
Is it the finale?
It's the
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, I
the
wanna see
10th
that.
anniversary show where Mojo has a musical number. That's all I'll say. Okay, let's get to Eric's. Eric, what is your number one?
Wait, was he going to explain?
I'm
that?
sorry. Do you want to talk about Venom?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I love that Venom is. He's a lot like Bizarro, because Bizarro is just Superman, except he's
And Venom has like a twisted evil spider thing going on.
yeah.
I wouldn't have put those together, but yeah, of course, sure.
Yeah, he's
And he also has a specific way he speaks.
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely in Spectacular, because it sounds like 1,000 voices.
Oh, I just meant the Wii thing. Where like Bizarro reverses everything.
And in some versions, Venom is also a lab experiment. Would
But
never have thought to compare this to Bizarro, but it
Yeah.
can be done.
I like that it's Eddie Brock who turns into Venom.
Yeah, I generally don't, but yeah.
Yeah, I refer to my name.
Now, let me ask you this. I'm surprised Carnage isn't there instead of Venom.
You asked for a Carnage poster for your birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And got one.
It's because I just I like Venom more instead of Carnage because I know more of him.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because
Know more about him.
I wasn't.
There's not much Carnage.
I wanted him
I
to
could
say because
even-
he's black and not red.
There's not a lot of. Well, I mean, his look is really cool, sure.
Yeah.
But like, there's not a lot of Carnage that Jason could even consume, really.
Yeah.
At
Yeah,
his
and
age.
I feel like in general there aren't a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
don't
really
know,
great
and
Carnage
I don't
stories.
really.
Are there a lot of really great Venom stories?
He's a cool idea.
Yeah, I mean,
before
more
anything.
than
with him
Carnage.
as the villain.
Just his
Yeah, that's
initial
fair.
one, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I like Maximum Carnage a lot,
Yeah.
even though it's not a great story. I mean, it's still
Yeah,
fun to
Yeah.
read,
I
so.
like.
Well, Spawn's in it, you
Maximum
have to.
Carnage too.
Spawn isn't then. It's not really Spawn, but it might as well be. What is that? What is that?
It's some generic like Night Walker, Night
It's
Striker,
Night Watch.
Night Watch.
Oh, Night Watch. I can't remember. Anyway.
Where's he? Let's give him a book.
Yeah, who cares?
That is the one character. If Marvel gave a book, I'd be surprised. Everyone else, we talked about this the other day. I wouldn't be surprised if anyone got if he got a book.
If I ever get to work for Marvel,
That's
that's
your
what
pitch?
I'm gonna be like. I won't work on this, and they're gonna be like, "Who is that?" And I'm gonna show them Maximum Carnage.
Damn.
and he'll meet Angela, and Angela will be like, "You look familiar."
That yeah. And then they'll be like, "Oh, you just want to do a Backdoor Angela book? We keep trying those. No one cares."
Dan.
What is that?
Some snapping and doing the web.
Oh, okay. Well, I saw what he did. I just don't know
it's,
why.
It's
Is that
the
from
secret
something?
Handshake. It's the secret
Okay.
handshake.
But the hands
Eric?
aren't shaking.
Eric, what's that's why it's secret. Eric, what is your number one?
Have you
sir?
figured it out yet?
No, I'm blanking.
It's the Mandarin.
Oh, I don't know why I didn't think of that. Yeah, it's because you already had an Iron Man villain on your list, and it seems like people were trying not to put too many of one thing on their list, and my mind didn't go back to Iron Man.
Yeah, no, it's the
No,
Mandarin.
of course it's the Mandarin.
The
Yeah.
Mandarin is, and I don't have a good reason. Like he's infinitely interpretable, and I like all of the different takes. Like sometimes he's a
Okay.
corporate businessman, sometimes he's a nationalist, sometimes he's just a straight.
Here's the
up
thing, you
communist,
used to
sometimes
talk
he's-
about Mandarin all the time. I can't remember the last time we had a Mandarin conversations. It just didn't come to me for some reason. I don't know.
What
It's
would
weird.
I say?
No, I don't know.
That I've not said before?
Said it all. That's
Um,
never stopped you before.
No, he's just a fascinating, really interesting character because every time someone writes him, they have a completely different take, but it's all built around similar principles. Like, everyone has a good idea of who this guy is, but it's why he does the things he does. So, like, Kurt Busiek makes him obsessed with, like, Genghis Khanian, like, survival of the fittest and things like that.
That's interesting.
My favorite take on him is in Haunted, where, which is my favorite Iron Man story, just kind of period, where he wants to release a bomb that's going to release extremists across the entire planet, because it will make everyone stronger, more powerful. It's survival of this thing, and extremists only works on like 90% of the population. Everyone else will die. And he's one of the people that it will not work on. So like, he is willing to sacrifice himself to make humanity as a whole stronger. I also love that he is the single most powerful person in the entire Marvel Universe, and no one treats him like that.
Yeah, it's really weird.
He can open a black hole. Like, one of his rings lets him open a black hole.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've never understood why...
He's also a master martial artist.
I've never understood why Thanos doesn't just go after those rings as a consolation prize. Like,
and Malekith did.
Yeah, I know he did.
Yeah.
It should have been great, and it wasn't.
Yeah, because early on in when he first shows up in the Stan Lee stuff, the rings are almost more like a distraction, and his real menace is that he's such a good martial artist, he can like karate chop through the armor and like actually do damage.
Yeah, did you know
to
about that, Malekith in Iron Man?
I have heard about that.
Yeah, and then he goes after the rings.
Was that in
I was so
Kieran
excited.
Gillen's
It was not good.
I feared it was in Gillen's run because he was writing Thor, either right before that or
He
that
was
like
written back
before?
during the mystery.
Yeah,
He
okay.
did the Loki stuff.
But he did Thor. He took over Thor after JMS left too, briefly. I think
He
did like the siege issues and stuff.
Yeah, he did the fill-in before Fraction actually got there.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I love the Mandarin. I think he's a really interesting character who is in no way consistent. I don't care. And
I really liked. I don't read a lot of Iron Man stuff, but I really liked the Mandarin in that annual that Fraction did during his run.
Yeah,
it's
we
my
talked about
second
that a
favorite
lot.
single issue.
Yeah,
It's really good.
And I always thought Fraction's take on the Mandarin was kind of weird because he's like put together but will fly at the handle like at nothing. Is like just kind of a crazy person.
Yeah.
But is running this whole because he has a whole nation. He has Mandarin City.
Yeah.
And then I read a book about Kim Jong-il, and I realized
That's
that
who it is, yeah.
Mandarin's faction is Kim Jong-il, and I was like, oh, this is way more interesting than I thought it was.
Yeah.
So
Mandarin City, we sell mandarins, and that's all. So we all know what Dan's is.
Mine is
so
the Green Goblin.
There's no reason to keep talking to Dan anymore. And
I like Green Goblin because I think
do we have to listen to this again?
He's like the
is he the opposite of Spider-Man?
He is. He is the opposite in that like he's a character that
In that not Dr. Octopus sort of way.
the responsibility thing that Steve Ditko put into that character, it comes from his like Ayn Randian view of the world, where it's like every individual must take responsibility for their actions, otherwise they're not being effective and being the best person they could be in the world. And I think Norman Osborn's interesting because he's a character that's mentally incapable of being responsible. He's also really powerful because he's a rich business tycoon, and obviously he has like the superpowers too. So I've always thought that aspect of the character is really interesting. And the subplots with him throughout Lee's run and afterwards too, where we actually spend a lot of time with him and the mental struggles he has. Like, it's not just that dinner scene I was talking about. There's there's like subplots and issues where we cut to him, and he's like the ongoing villain. And whenever he always shows up, it's a big deal. Like, we save Green Goblin for the big stories usually. One writer, when they come on, they'll use him for like the big finale of their story or like the defining aspect of their run. And they do the same thing with Harry. Like, James DeMatteis does that in his run on Spectacular, where Harry sacrifices his life to save Peter and stuff, and that's really great. So Norman Osborn specifically is my favorite version of the Goblin, but I also like Harry as well. So yeah, I think he's a great character.
I like that he's petty and human and will do things like sleeping with the hero's girlfriend.
No!
Just to get at him.
No!
It's actually not just to get at him, isn't it? Like, it's just completely non-consequential.
Yeah.
Inconsequential.
But I'm assuming you're not a big fan of the Uric Goblin.
No, I've actually read the maxi series he got from the 90s. I have it in trade.
Yeah, I've got it in singles.
It's awful.
Oh, it's terrible. And I read all of it, and I don't know why. I guess I just, because I had it.
It's weird that they try to turn Green Goblin into an anti-hero like
what
the
was his
Venom
name?
thing.
That's what, Ben Uric's...
It's Phil Urich, yeah.
Phil Urich.
And then they
that's
make
his
him into the
nephew,
worst
right?
version of the Hobgoblin in Slott's run.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Ultimate Norman?
I like Bendis' characterization of him. It's really interesting. He's not the same character at all. He's like cruel from the beginning, and I like that take on him. I just don't like the Ultimate Goblin design. We talked about this.
Yeah.
And we will again.
Yeah.
One day.
Yeah, he's just kind of Norman and Ultimate is just kind of unhinged from the beginning.
Maybe.
Like the way he treats Harry is awful. From the
I
very
love when they do the second Goblin arc, and you see how crazy he is.
Yeah.
Because he keeps talking to himself or to something, and he keeps talking about like circles and things, and then he just sees ghost people everywhere.
Yeah.
There are things constantly talking to him. It's like tell him about the circles. He hates you. Kiss him. Fight him. Like he's just.
Yeah.
He's really crazy.
Yeah, he is. And, like, the Ultimate version, specifically with his relationship with Harry, like, he's neglectful actively in that, whereas, like, in the 616, he's just kind of a bad father because he's just involved in his work all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like that in
Here it's
Ultimate
like he
too,
resents being a father.
Yeah, but in Ultimate, he's just like... He tells Harry's mom to get this kid out of here. At
Your
one point.
kid.
Yeah.
Get your kid out.
Yeah.
Which makes him the anti-Uncle Ben before he's the anti-Spider-Man.
That's
and then
true.
the idea is
Yeah.
Harry Osborn is the anti-Spider-Man.
Right.
Because of the way he was raised.
And he becomes...
Despite himself, and then he's got almost like a Lex Luthor thing going on where he'd like to not turn into his father, but
Right.
he can't help himself.
Exactly, yeah. So, yeah, in all versions, I've really always liked Norman Osborn. And the design is just great, too. Like, it's really scary looking, even though it's got purple on it somehow. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's an interesting motif
Yeah.
through these lists. Scary despite purple.
And he's one of the few Spider-Man villains that isn't, like, animal-themed, which I think is interesting, too.
Scary despite purple. Sounds pretty
None of my villains are purple.
Really?
Because Miller's Joker wears white.
Oh, okay. I thought you had at least one with that.
Jack Lantern doesn't have purple. None of my villains have purple.
How many of mine?
How many of mine?
I mean, I've got Galactus, and we talked about Shredder, but
Yeah.
I didn't have Shredder.
So I get Dormammu, the Shredder. The Riddler can have purple question marks on his suit.
That's true. That's true. Well, and sometimes he has a purple suit with green question mark, right? No, I feel like I've seen that. Maybe not.
Kingpin sometimes wears that purple undershirt thing.
That's true.
But I don't know if that counts.
I feel like you're reaching.
It's all about purple.
Because Dr. Eggman can sometimes have purple.
I've never seen
I've never seen that.
purple.
Oh. Well, Crane definitely has purple.
No.
No.
In Ultimate, Venom's purple.
Oh, that's true.
counts.
That's true. Yeah.
Draca's has purple?
No,
No, he's green.
except for when he's pink. In the comics, he's pink.
Oh, okay. They're black and white.
Except for when they're they're colored. And no, and he is. Those characters have official color schemes, Eric, because
Charizard is purple.
Because they'll get early on like they would do covers and they would do
Right.
posters and things, and they would show you what the colorization would be if they had the money to make them in color.
So Zorro is purple.
And in the video game, he's pink.
I see.
They make him the final boss in the video game, and they make him the pink version for some reason, even though they have the licenses for the characters in the cartoon show, and they're using that theme, and it looks like it's based on the cartoon show, but it's also based on the comics. It's really strange. My number one, I'm sure everybody knows,
We all know.
Well,
is Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Specifically Smallville.
Specifically Smallville Lex Luthor. You
Really?
still can't get away from it. Yeah.
well,
There's no comic version that's surpassed that for you?
No.
does
Interesting.
Fuzzy Lumpkins wear purple?
No.
No, it's because I find
Blue's blue.
yes, he has purple fur though. He is a purple guy.
No, he's pink.
Okay, I guess it depends on how. I thought it was purple.
Yeah, I thought it was white
I
one.
thought-
Yeah. Anyway. So, I haven't found a background for Lex that is more interesting than Smallville's.
Okay.
I kind of like him a lot more as a guy who doesn't want to turn into his father, who is actually comic book Lex in the first place, and less interesting. That's the whole thing, is that you get both Lexes at the same time in that show. Because, and they give Lionel Lex's backstory. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, really?
But Lionel's parents died in a tenement fire that he caused, and so that he could get the insurance money to start his business.
I didn't even
which
know
is Lex
that-
Luthor's backstory.
I didn't even know that was his backstory.
For the corporate version.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Does that come from John Byrne?
I think
don't.
so.
It's
I'm
not
honestly not sure.
that's
I
I don't know where it comes from,
I
but
like Lex and Supergirl.
Lex isn't even in that yet.
Oh.
His sister Lena Luthor is in Supergirl. But anyway, but yeah, like he's interesting in comparing him to the Superman upbringing.
Yeah, that is cool.
I also love Lex Squared. And
Yeah.
we'll never get to see
We'll
anything with that.
never get to see anything with that, but it's great too.
I like Jeff Johns' take on Lex Luthor in like Forever Evil and stuff. I thought he was one of the
I
cool
don't
things about
like
that.
Jeff Johns' take on
I
that.
don't know about it.
Oh.
I've always
I thought he
been
was cool.
Jeff
Yeah,
Johns is too interested in Lex Luthor. Like he wants to write Lex Luthor book. Like, he wants him to be the hero, and like every time he uses Lex Luthor, it's all about like
And he's in a Superman suit right now.
and like Superman has to team up with Lex Luthor. Like that's a lot of his stuff. I don't think Jeff Johns gets that character. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I don't get Lex Luthor then. I don't know.
I
thought it was cool.
But I do really like. Yeah, okay. I do really like the Action Comics
Is
Lex Luthor.
that the
Just
one where you
before
have the
52?
Orange Lantern ring? Paul Cornell was writing it?
Yes,
Yeah,
that stuff's great.
Cornell, thank you. I was trying to remember his
Yeah.
name. Cornell, yeah. That stuff's really good.
And I know you like the Azarello Luthor book
It's
too, don't
brilliant.
you? Yeah.
Yeah.
You've said to me is the definitive text on the character.
It is, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I'm
This
trying
is
to
the thing I've
think,
talked
That's
about a million
everyone's
times,
opinion.
so I don't feel the need to go on anymore about Lex.
I'm
but,
trying to
yeah.
think of what other Lex Luthor stuff I've read that's really great.
I have a tendency to really like villains that I can admire while not condoning.
Yeah.
Well,
And certainly the Rosenbaum Lex has that, and I love that he has 150 opportunities for change and he never takes them, but he always really wants to and feels like he can. He has this like nature nurture thing where he's trying to fight that kind of absurd Clark Kent destiny idea where Clark's constantly trying to figure out who he's supposed to be, and Lex is trying to make himself who he wants to be.
And that's so Lex Luthor because he's all about like sheer force of will, being a self-made person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, why I'm starting to love Bane so much. Because I'm discovering he has that.
That's really awesome.
So anyway, well, there it is. There's our top 10 list.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just one more thing about Venom. I love Agent Venom.
Yeah, he's the best one.
Yeah.
Flash Thompson.
Yeah.
And if we made superhero lists, it'd be really easy to see that on a superhero list.
Yeah.
Well, this is fun. I don't know if I've ever done the top 10 villain thing before in all our years of doing this.
I've done it on like videos, collaboration with other people, and like chats and
Yeah, I
stuff.
think I did at some point.
Okay.
But
No, I know I did at some point because it is right before X-Men Origins Wolverine comes out, and I was hyped for that movie. I put Sabretooth on my list for some reason.
And this is one of those things that fluctuates all the time for me. Like,
Yeah,
I imagine
yeah.
my list 365 days from now would not be the same as it is now.
especially the ranking, like a couple of years ago, Loki wouldn't have been number 2 for me. He would have been on there, but he wouldn't have been number 2.
But I guess, but my number 1 spot will probably always be consistent.
Yeah,
maybe
same.
we all have
of
that.
course. Yeah.
Probably.
But of course, Jason's just getting started with all
His
that.
number 2 will change tomorrow.
Yeah. It'll change in 5 minutes. It'll change after I show him the Powerpuff Girls episode we're gonna watch. To a different Powerpuff Girls character. But anyway, Jason, thanks for suggesting this, buddy. No, I love Fuzzy Lumpkins. Get off of my property, Dad.
He's my second favorite villain. He's always going to be my second favorite villain.
Jason, thanks
You just don't understand.
for suggesting this.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
Yeah, it was.
Well, thanks again for watching, folks, and we'll be back with lots more content here on Geekvolution later in the week. I am Captain Logan.
And I'm Venom.
No, you're not.
Dan.
Wouldn't you say we're Venom? If you were actually
go.
Venom?
Yeah.
That's how we know you're lying. Anyway, thanks for watching, folks.
Yeah, we're Venom.